I'm going to do it. Yeah, I don't know how he did that. Thank you. Oop, there it is. You go to full screen? Oh, on the text? Yeah. Control plus or control up arrow. Make it even bigger, dude. Yeah. Oh, are we already live? Yeah. Damn, dude. Whew. That was a close one. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Check, checkity, check.
I gotta cancel this. Vice Grip Garage just dropped 2 new YouTube videos.
Oh, we gotta go home.
Show's canceled.
Yes, Levi. Dan has buttons.
No. Fudge you, dude. My YouTube's not working. Ka-chow.
All right, we need to
I'm so startled.
share the things. Everybody, the title of this episode is not only the Xfinity race, but it's also what this episode is about to be.
It's all encompassing.
Yeah. Oh, my sound is
Hey,
on.
turn the volume down there, Grandpa. I thought it was mine. I was like, I paused it.
Yeah, that's a Coda shirt. You're right. It is a Coda shirt. I don't even remember what shirt I had on today.
Good evening. I'm tired of digging, Grandpa. more volume?
Who needs more volume?
Levi.
Well, we haven't been saying anything, so I mean, it should. How's it look over there? Like, is it still kind of bouncing up where it was?
Yeah, about 3/4.
Yeah, that's where that's
half to 3/4.
pretty much where it has been. We're just quiet because I'm still trying to post shit and. Why won't you
Yeah,
work?
what do you guys want us to talk about?
We,
Brent Newton Blocker.
Heyo.
You do seem a bit quiet.
why do we seem quiet? I don't dare touch the board because Kyle's got it like set up perfectly. I guess we can go jack up the YouTube a little bit.
How do I do that?
That bottom one, if you see this, the one that's moving. On the bottom is the level slider. You can just bump that up a skosh. You see what I mean? Should say like
this bitch out.
little square, the actual like there's a little slider.
All the way.
I feel like all the way might be a little hot.
Turn it up to 100.
How does that sound, everybody? It sounds a little hot now.
Like you're projecting more than you want to, so
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Is that too loud or just loud enough? Hope we just blew somebody's speakers out by accident.
False information.
All right, Levi said better, and everyone else. Okay.
Fake news.
I think Levi's just complaining for complaining's sake.
Well, he's going to be really complaining when we don't talk about the cup race at all.
There was a cup race?
Nope.
It was boring.
It was an off week.
Doop 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 doop. What'd you do this weekend? What do you got for the all off track there,
Freaking
Chief?
nothing, bud.
Why'd you do nothing? Oh, because it was literally the worst weekend ever in terms of weather.
Yeah, it was just mizzy out, dude.
So you had no ice?
No.
Yeah, I had a 1/4 inch of ice on everything. It was
No,
insane.
we didn't get any. We had some moisture for sure.
Yeah, it was wet. I mean, it wasn't, but it definitely, like I said, we went out Saturday night, and it was like everything was covered in ice, but I think the roads had gotten warm enough that the roads were perfectly fine. They were just wet.
I mean, I went out Sunday, went to the grocery store and stuff, and the roads were fine.
Do anything to your truck or nothing? You just vibe
No,
vibe at home all weekend?
It's hard to get motivated to go work on my truck because I know I'm disassembling it.
I get you.
Like once it's in pieces, I'll have the motivation to go put it back together.
Yep.
But it's complete, just sitting on the ground right now, and the motivation to go uncomplete it is kind of killing me. Plus, I keep thinking about the stuff I have to spend money on. Like I want to do a new drive shaft this year because I still have like the OG steel one in there.
Yep.
And I remember when I got it dynoed the first time, or the only time I've ever dynoed it, but the guy he's like, "What drive shaft do you have in this?" I was like, "Stock S10 drive shaft from 1999," and he kind of
Pardon?
looked really scared because he had to sit in it on the dyno,
waiting for it to just come up through the floorboard.
I'm like, if I'm going to be putting another fucking 100+ horsepower to this thing, which is my plan, maybe I should put a different drive shaft.
What are you going to get for a drive shaft?
I'll get a custom aluminum one made.
Yeah.
Just a one-piece aluminum. I'm hoping I can literally just bring them the S10 one and be like, make
this,
new, but aluminum.
Yeah, make this, but lighter and stronger.
With good U-joints in it.
Yeah.
Like, they can probably use my factory pinion or my yoke or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just do new U-joints and just replace the center section.
2-piece or a single piece?
The 1-piece.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it's steel.
Oh, yeah, that thing's heavy as fuck, probably.
It's not bad, but yeah, aluminum would be much better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I imagine there's plenty of places around here that can make them, but
that's something to
I've
dig
never
into.
Never got one made.
That's one of those weird, like, I need my radiator welded. Like, it's just those weird things that you're going to find a place that's probably been doing it 10 minutes from your house for 20 years.
Tim's Speed Shop in Nashua.
Yep.
I don't know
if
Tim's
even still there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're a place that I would think that would make drive shafts. But you never know. You're just going to look it up. Mike's U-joints and shafts.
Exactly.
And
yeah. That's what I mean. It's one of those things that you never need, but then there will come a point you'll find a place, and then you find out that it's probably been there for 45 years and like 10 minutes up the road from your house, and you're
Yeah.
like, what? Like, I've never even.
Yeah, give me a 6-pack and a freaking pack of zebra gum from 1975, and I'll get this thing tuned up.
Yeah,
for
exactly. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. I got a little hair. So obviously, I talked about the wheels I got last week. I ended up out of work early on. We're slow as hell right now. Like I've been working like half days, and I've actually the job I'm on now. We've been doing full days, but like it's just been miserable. We're painfully slow, and it's not looking any better anytime soon. But I got to work early on Wednesday. It was beautiful out, so I was like, just got these wheels. I'm gonna take them apart. I know I mentioned the valve stem issue last week. I ended up buying the $200 ones. My bonus check from work came in just in time after I got told no. And then she's like, oh, you got your bonus check. Yeah, I get them. I was
They
like,
give you guys bonuses for that job?
Not much. I get 2 a year. I get a Christmas bonus. And then this is we get the end of March because it's the end of like the fiscal year for taxes. I've always joked it's the cook the books bonus. Like we made this money, but we can't make it look like we made a lot of money. So here, have some money. It ain't much, but it's honest work. So I got those in actually yesterday. Those showed up. They're wild. It's just a 8mm triple square bolt with a valve stem in it.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I got to clean the bolt holes in the barrels though, because I was like, there's no way this is going to thread into that. And I got it to thread in, but it wasn't easy. Like I got to clean those up before I fuck something up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, well, I haven't, I've never taken a wheel apart before. I was like,
it's a 2-piece. It's pretty easy.
it wasn't that hard. It was a little skeezy with the triple squares. Like you slip once and it's like, don't fuck this up. But the biggest problem, so the valve stem bolts that were in it that worked but weren't the right ones, I'm glad I bought new ones because I had to destroy them to get them out. So they were, instead of having the triple square head, it was almost like a big flat head. But I didn't have anything big enough. Like all the biggest flathead I had went into the hole where the core was and didn't actually catch the thing to spin it with. And I don't know how the hell they put them in. I don't know. I tried like 10 different things, anything to make it work. And finally I just said, fuck it. And I took one of the biggest flatheads I had and just hammered it into the hole. Well, it was a flathead socket.
Yeah.
Hammered it into the hole and then loosened it that way.
Jesus.
I got all 4 of them out and didn't fuck anything up. But outside of the valve stem, I knew I had new ones coming. So I was like,
yeah,
fuck it. I might as well give it a try. It's the only option I had. I sat there for the first one took me probably 2 hours to take apart because I was fucking with that valve stem. After that, each one took me 20 minutes.
Yeah, I remember the first time I rebuilt a set of wheels, I had a set of RS2s, the BBS 17x7 or
Same thing I have.
17x8.
Yeah, same thing I
But
have.
it's the face comes in from the back.
Oh, okay. These the face go
The
at the
face
top.
sits on the top. But they were in there. They were super clean for the most part, but they've been in there for 15, 20 years at this point. Took all the hardware out. None of them broke. I hammered all the heads out because they weren't normal like BBS bolts.
Mm-hmm.
They're on those style. They press into the face.
Oh, okay.
They're like splined.
Yep.
And they kind of press in. So I had to go around and tap each one of them out. And then the faces were the hard part to get out. I ended up sitting there. I ended up putting like a big 2x4 on it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I had to like jump on it
Oh,
or
God.
if I was able to get it with a hammer. But I was sitting there trying to be delicate with like a dead blow. It's like tap, tap,
Yeah.
tap, 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 tap. And for like 2 hours, I fought with the first one until I was just like, fuck it. Like I got a fucking big metal dead blow and a 2x4. And I was just like, hail Satan, kabam!
Yeah.
And knocked the thing out. And then the other ones took me 15 minutes.
I haven't had a rubber mallet in so long. Like I've never really owned one, never had a need for it. We bought one to do some flooring in the house.
Yeah.
I've now used it twice in the last 2 weeks for non-house related things. I had to use it to get my wheels that I sold off of the Cabrio. And then I did the same thing when I was getting the faces out. I got all the bolts out, kind of flipped them up on their, I held the face or I held the lip and kind of like put my arm in front of the face so it wouldn't fall straight out and just hit it a couple times and they popped right out.
Like the orange Pittsburgh dead blows. I have those. I think I have one snap-on dead blow, but it's small.
Yeah.
But I have this super cool hammer tool that my dad gave me. He gave me a bunch of, like, when I first went to college for automotive, he gave me a bunch of, like, random tools.
Yeah.
And one of them, I loved it because everyone would always get, like, jealous when I pulled it out. NASCOM.
There it is. There it is.
Luckily, this isn't going on the official.
Yeah, this is the
It's
before the official.
It's like a hammer with a little rubber dead blow on it.
Yeah.
but a big hook on it, and it's a specific hubcap hammer.
I've seen those. I know what you're talking
So
about.
it perfectly hooks the hubcap and pops it off.
Yep, I've seen
on
those.
the claw side, and then it's got a nice rubber dead blow on it to go ding 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 ding, ding around.
Tap it back in. Yeah.
And that thing sat in my toolbox for years. And then one day I worked on like a Ford Econoline van, and I was like sitting there with a flathead over and over, couldn't get it off. I'm trying to tap it with my dead blows, trying
Yeah.
to knock it off, and finally I like, hey, I wonder if this will work. And I popped it out, and I was like, this is the purpose of this tool. I've had this thing in my
Had this thing
toolbox
for 20 years.
for 10 years, and I never knew the purpose of this tool. It was just always in the back of my hammer drawer. And I was like, this thing's amazing. So I would use it on freaking everything. You get
Yeah.
like an old Lincoln or something with metal hubcaps.
Oh yeah.
Good freaking luck.
Those things
You're going
are-
to break your pinky putting those on with your hand.
Yeah. Oh
'Cause
yeah.
That's how I always put hubcaps on. Hold the valves down and go,
you knock them on.
yeah,
Yeah.
go around the outside of it. And then I found this hammer, and I was just like, fucking boom, boom,
Yep.
boom. Money shots, money shots, money shots.
But so I'm at the point now. I'm just waiting for the weather to turn because I don't really have a place in my garage to work on them. Like I took them apart on the tailgate of my truck.
Yeah.
So I already have a setup. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna paint them. I'm gonna hang them. I'm gonna put 2 4-foot ladders up.
And you guys aren't really using your dining room.
True. I'm not painting in there though. I'm just gonna take 2 4-foot ladders, and I have some steel. That's some steel shelving that I grabbed from
Yeah.
work. I have never put it together, so I just have one of the legs, and it's like a 6-foot piece of steel. I'm gonna sacrifice some old wire hangers and just hang them from that,
Yeah.
and just spray them right there. But I gotta wait for the weather to turn because even today, like it was sunny out, but it was windy as shit and 40 degrees out. Like I'm not painting in that. I gotta clean them up too. I get excited because my dad just got he has a sandblast cabinet, and he tried years ago. He put like glass bead in it, I think, or something, and he hated it. And typical my dad, then just didn't touch it for the last 10 years. I was just talking to him the other day. He emptied it out, cleaned it out, and put Black Beauty in it, which that is basically like what I looked it up. It's like almost like was it iron or coal dust for sandblasting, but it's too strong for aluminum. Like it'll eat the faces up.
Graphite, maybe?
Maybe graphite, maybe that's what it was. But I looked it up and it's too strong. It's more for like steel.
A lot of people take those cheap ones you get at Harbor Freight that are like bead blasters, and they'll turn it into like a wet media blaster.
Yeah.
And that works really good.
I was
There's a lot of
thinking-
people there's like conversion videos all over YouTube
I was
for 'em.
thinking about bead blasting the faces, like sandblasting them in the cabinet, but I don't want to fuck them up. So I'm probably just going to kill myself and, hand sand them, just scuff them up,
I
clean
did
them
that
up.
when I did my RS2s. I was going to college at the time, and these are 17-inch mesh faces,
Yes.
tight mesh, identical to
Same
yours.
thing. Yep.
And are they RS2s?
I have RS2s. Yeah.
You have RS2s. What are the RC090s?
Yeah. The RCs. Yeah.
I thought they're not RS2s.
I know what you're talking
They're
about though.
I don't know, BBS RC090s, whatever the street name for those are. But I had those, and when I was going to college for automotive, the other half of the college was auto body.
Yeah.
So talked to the auto body teacher, who one of them liked me, the other one didn't. I never really dealt with them, but they thought they were so superior to the automotive kids. But one of the teachers,
Dude, it was like that even in my high school
Yeah.
because it was automotive at MST. Automotive was here, auto body was here. The auto body people thought they were like so much better than the mechanics.
our parking lot that we originally parked in was on the side of the building, but on the side of the auto body building.
Yeah.
So a nice day when all the doors were open, we would just walk straight through to the parking lot, and they would lose their shit if we walked through their shop.
Yep.
But you got to think it was like a straight path because the building was made to drive through all the way.
Yeah.
And then they had their paint booth on one side, and then they did an addition off the back where they kind of had like a tunnel
Yep.
of a bunch of cars and stuff that they'd work on. They had a frame jig on one side. So they were never doing anything in the middle. And if they were, we wouldn't walk through. But if it was clear,
Yeah.
there wasn't anything there, or there was no students, they didn't have a class that period or whatever, we would just walk through, and they would lose their mind.
Yep.
And I found out years later that I'm actually buddies with the nephew of one of the guys, one of the teachers.
Yeah.
But the teacher that semi-liked me agreed to paint the wheels for me. Because I was like, I don't want to spray paint them. I want them to come out nice.
Yeah.
I was putting a lot of work into them. And so I dropped off the faces and the center caps, and those were different center caps. They were painted on the middle.
Yep.
They didn't have the chrome ring that slipped in and out.
Yep.
And so I dropped them off, and I was like, yeah, dude, this was fucking like before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I want to assemble them in the spring. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, no problem. That could be a little fun side project for one of our classes if we're slow or waiting for paint to dry. Literally,
Yeah.
they could sand your wheels and we'll just spray them real quick. Cool. They sat on the same table for 4 months. Like March was rolling around. School was coming to a close.
You're like,
I'm about to graduate from this bit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get gone. And I was like, hey, are you guys going to get to... we didn't have time. It was just... The prep was too much of an undertaking for our class to do. I was like, you should have told me.
I could have been working on them this whole time.
I'm like, I literally could have prepped them for you if you said something.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take one a week and I'll just go to my house and do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot about them. Like, well, which one was it? So I fucking sanded them all by hand, masked them all off because I didn't want to paint the lips or the contact surface.
The contact surface, yeah.
Because they slipped into the lips. And
it's going to be
these
like
are
this
just
all day.
accidental, but now that fucking not cooperatingly is fucking clipping us.
I'm changing his name on
so
Discord to Michael not cooperatingly.
I prepped him, and he ended up painting them like 3 days after school ended.
No shit.
So, like, I think they were literally doing... I didn't graduate. Drop out. They were, like, probably doing graduation. And I'm, like, slinging wheels out the back door of the auto body shop like it's a drug deal. But I got them as soon as I got home. I assembled them all, taking fucking master shots of these in my backyard on the grass with the freshly painted faces and lips.
Yeah, I gotta go. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna end up hand sanding them. I don't really care. I'm just gonna scuff them up. Like, I'm not gonna get it. They're not, obviously their faces, they're not curved. There's no big gouges in them. Like, it's just a matter of scuffing them up just so they hold paint.
Honestly, make sure you get decent paint.
Yeah, which I did.
And I would clear the fuck out of them.
I didn't clear the TSWs, and they came out really nice. So
I would clear them.
Maybe I'll play it by ear.
Just make sure that you're clearing your paint to the same brand.
Yeah, I'm just
because I've had that issue before where I've painted something. I was like, I want to put a layer of protection on this, and it's like Rust-Oleum and Crackle or whatever that freaking Krylon
Duplicolor.
Like Rust-Oleum and Krylon or Rust-Oleum and Duplicolor, and you paint it, and all of a sudden like,
it's lifting.
Why is that doing science?
So I
shouldn't be doing science.
Grabbed 2 cans. It's the same stuff I painted my last set of wheels with. It's the stuff at AutoZone, the actual wheel paint. They have it in silver and gunmetal, or like gloss black. And I was like, give me that gunmetal joint. And they had 2 cans left, so I grabbed 2 cans. I only do the faces, so should be plenty. My biggest issue is going to be the lips, because the lips have a little bit of, there's like some surface rust on them. I already attacked them with some of that stuff I was talking about, the chrome polish and like the wadding pad.
Yeah.
It actually was doing a good job, but I think I'm going to attempt to use the white diamond, which I have some, but I realized that it's like, I haven't had polished lips in 6-7 years.
But those are chrome, right?
They're chrome, yeah. So I grabbed them. I looked at that. I was like, let me just try like test hit of the white diamond, because it's like a textured polish.
Yeah, you need that fucking shit they sell in all those Instagram ads.
Apparently.
The fucking clip-on rim protectors.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I'll just try a little test patch. And I grabbed it out of the garage and I look at it and I'm like, I don't know. I like flipped it around. I'm shaking it around. Dude, it's solid. It is like dried out. It is solid. So I had to go to the store and get some new white diamond. I want to try it because that stuff does a really good job of taking like corrosion and stuff off.
I got to hit up my polishing guy and figure out, he gave me a booklet of a bunch of different types of polish. And I just want to hit him up and be like, hey, what should be like my like once a year cleanup on these wheels be? Because mine are fully polished down to bare aluminum on my wheels.
Yeah.
Like he went ham when he polished my wheels. So now it's like, I don't want to put on like Meguiar's or something that's going to possibly damage it.
That's what I'm worried about.
Because that would require repolishing the entire wheel.
Yeah. So 2 things. Carteropoly, I don't know how to do that. That's been a problem we've had since day one. And oh God, Kyle's here. Keep adjusting the sound and the heating. Joke's on Kyle, the heat is off. So that's phenomenal. As soon as I got in here, that thing kicked on and I was like, not today, Satan. And I shut it off. I was like, absolutely not. Yeah, so I was messing with the wheels. Like I said, the big thing now is just going to be, I cleaned them. I hit them with some wheel cleaner. Like the barrels were all black brake dust. I actually cleaned up halfway decent. I got to polish those lips, paint the faces, and put them back together. I want to clean the bolts up. I've been looking at different ways, just soak them in something.
Yeah.
I've seen people use like vinegar, different paint, not paint thinner, but like.
What are they?
the material.
Yeah.
From what I've read, they're titanium, but I don't believe that. I've seen there was
They're just zinc plated.
literally in one post, I saw somebody say that they're titanium, and the reply was they're not titanium, and I'm like, cool.
There's
They're-
no way they're titanium.
They're in really good shape. Like they're not even that dirty, but obviously the threads are all full of blue Loctite and shit.
Yeah.
So I want to get all that. Honestly, I've realized in the basement, I have one of those bench like rotary grinders, and my dad has one in his garage, and it's a grinding wheel on one side and a wire wheel on the other
Yeah.
side. And that's always what I cleaned up like the slides on my brake calipers with when I did brake jobs.
Bro, you know what they have at my shop? I've never seen it before, but it's a bench grinder, stone disc on one side,
Yep.
the other side rubber.
I've seen those for taking. Yeah, I've seen
Bro,
that.
it is so good for like cleaning up the end of a bolt or something like that, or cleaning up. You
Yep.
just cut a piece of metal. Like I'll do little projects here and there where I'll have to make a bracket, or
Yep.
we have in our mills we have giant rods that go from the top to the bottom. That's what threads the tool onto, and those will get all gnarred up over time from using the mills. So I'll take it off. The guy will throw it in the lathe, clean it up, and then I'll just run it over the rubber bit
Yep.
for a second. Just freaking, it polishes the end like nothing.
Yeah. So the bolt heads are in really good shape. It's just I got to clean the threads up, and I'm not sitting there by hand. So I might look into if that bench grinder in the basement works. It was Steph's grandfather's. Like I don't
Yeah.
know the last time it turned on, but I think you can just pop the bolt off and
Yeah,
stick
I mean,
a wire
you don't
wheel.
need to go absolutely insane.
Or,
to clean
honestly,
the
I
blue
could just-
Loctite off.
I could just go to my dad's house and use.
That's
his
probably
wire
what I
wheel.
would do.
He's got a wire wheel. I
Yeah.
can just buzz them off.
Just turn on Lucis Fast podcast and just clean them
Yeah.
up real quick.
Scumbag is not here. His wife had to work tonight, so he couldn't leave the pup alone all day. I appreciate that Kyle does think he earns a vacation day after 2 shifts. I'm trying to think anything. Oh, and then I spent the entire weekend. It actually timed out perfectly that it was such a shitty weekend. Literally the worst weekend weather-wise. As soon as Friday night hit, it turned gray, cold, and raining. And then it turned into ice and rain and whatever. So it was one of those weekends where it was good that we had a bunch of house shit to do because we weren't sitting here like we should be outside right now. It's a 65 sunny day. Like
yeah.
it was just shitty. We didn't want to go anywhere anyway. So we basically we have carpets coming for the second bedroom on Thursday.
Does it
So-
match the drapes?
There are no drapes.
Oh,
We're bald.
call that a bikini wax.
So it's been thrash mode trying to get this room done, but we're almost done. Actually kind of hyped about it, that'll be all set, that'll be fucking finished. But my back and shoulders are killing me because like we did the ceiling, borrowed a sanding machine from work. So it's basically looks like a giant vac. You've probably seen us have them at your job.
Yeah,
It's a big sanding disc.
I've seen them. I don't remember you guys ever using
Yeah,
them.
it's a giant, it's like a 12-inch sanding disc on like a wand that a vacuum attaches to. So it spins, you use it, and the dust goes in the vacuum. Well,
Sucks it off.
the thing's awkward and heavy.
Yeah.
It's not even heavy. It only weighs like 10, 15 pounds, but it's like when you're doing
Yeah,
a
it's above
ceiling,
your head. Yeah.
when you're holding it above your head, and I already have a shitty, my left shoulder is junk. So it's like I would do like a little bit. I'd go for a minute or two, and then Steph would watch me. I just like let my arm hang. She's like, "You good?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to make sure there's feeling in it still." Like, so
That's
I
why
went
they
to
call him Dan Atlas.
I went to
Walker.
work Monday morning, and I'm like, my lower back hurts, my shoulder's killing me, everything hurts. I got on the couch the other night, my knee popped so loud, the dog jumped. She's like, "You good?" I'm like, "No, I'm not good. I didn't get a weekend this weekend, but hey, it's okay." Yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's just that
Did more construction in one weekend than you have in the past 10 years at your job.
literally, not even the job. It actually, we're doing the same thing we did when we finished the room downstairs last month, where we're like, "What are we doing? Why did we fucking wait so long?" Like, we're so fucking stupid. Honestly,
That's the thing with any project. Anybody that's ever cleaned their garage
oh yeah,
is like, why did it, like, that's fucking should be your next project
it is.
is clean the garage, because it's like, how did I not know I had a bench this whole time?
Well,
Like, you know how nice it would have been to work on this bench?
I look back. There was one thing I always did. My gold car, I hated the antenna on it, on the
Yeah.
front fender, and I read that all you had to do was pop the top fender bolts off. There was 2 bolts where the antenna was. If you took one of the bolts out and just swiveled the whole thing down, you could hide it in the fender. I wanted to do that for like 5 years, and I was always like, "I'll get to it. I'll get to it." And then one day I just did it, and I was like, it took me less than 3 minutes. What am I doing? Like, why did I wait so long?
I'm trying to think if there's anything that's been like similar to that on like my truck.
There's been it's the biggest pain in the ass with this room is that room has become, in the 7 years we've lived there, it's become the catch-all.
Yeah.
Like, obviously all of our snowboards were in there. That's where I waxed the snowboards and worked on them and shit. But there's also like my dad sent me home with a bunch of stuff from his house one time, ended up in there.
Yeah, 'cause
like
that motherfucker needs the space.
yeah. All this
Fucking
shit has
parents,
ended
man.
up in there. So we went through a bunch of stuff, threw a bunch of stuff away, but we still had so much crap in there, and we need to clear it out because it needs to be completely empty because we're painting stuff, we're putting
Yeah.
floor in, and it's just finding places around. Like the house is a train wreck right now because there's just the shit that's supposed to be in that room is in every other fucking room in the house.
Go bring it to your dad's house.
I should have, honestly.
I need to store this stuff, Dad.
Yeah, but it's been it was interesting. It'll be nice to get that shit done. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got. Kyle, are you in the air right now, or are you still on the ground? Because I know you're bougie and you get the in-flight Wi-Fi. So
I think I'm in the air in the room. I was like, are we on camera?
I'm sure he's got a
We
camera. I'm sure he's got another camera hidden in here somewhere.
It's in Kevin's eyes.
Wait, what am I doing? I can check his location and tell you where he is. Where's
He's definitely still in the
Kyle?
air.
Nope, he is still sitting at the airport.
In Florida?
Yep, he is in Miami. I can see his location. He's just sitting on the tarmac.
They drove up to Miami
No, they landed in Miami and then drove to the Keys
and then drove back
and
to
then
Miami.
drove back to Miami today.
Is Miami closer to the Keys?
Yeah, it's not bad. Miami's like
Why
literally
was I thinking?
Jacksonville's up north.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's way up north. Orlando, Daytona's kind of like a third of the way down. Tampa's on the other side, and then Miami, Homestead, Miami is like, and Fort Lauderdale's way, way south. And then once you go through Miami, all that's left is the Keys.
Yeah, I haven't been down there in 15 years.
I'm
so-
glad they went. Like I haven't been since I was a kid, but Key West is dope. Like it's a cool
I went
place.
and it was very scary. I was like fresh out of high school or going into like my senior year.
You told us this last week because you went over the bridge and you guys were like,
Yeah, but it was the whole trip was like we're doing this alone, like no parents, and we got to must have been the Miami airport and just fucked everything up and missed our bus. And then it was like, Mom, save us. Mom, 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 there's a scary truck.
Yeah,
like,
Kyle-
I need to get saved.
Kyle, I was creeping your location today. I saw you didn't leave the fucking hotel all day. You just vibed on the beach. I'm proud of you, but I also wanted to kill you.
All right, let's do an episode.
Yeah, I suppose we're at that point where we can do the thing because now as soon as we start the episode, that means Kyle won't be able to watch us anymore, which is phenomenal.
Phenomena. Bum, ba-da-da.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. All right. Slightly different. I'm just reading Kyle's instructions. Okay, it's a long press to stop. All right, what do we got for buttons here? I just don't know how he has his buttons set up.
Just avoid the red ones. Those are all slurs.
Oh, there we go. There's arrows down there. Trying to find like the intro. There it is. Found it. Found the intro page. Thanks, Kyle. You're a lot of help. You left it on your air horn buttons and shit. All right. You ready to do a show about some NASCAR,
Yep.
even though it's not fun? Oh, Kyle's texting me. Page 3. Page 3. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, worry about yourself. I
All right. Let's do the thing. That's the theme for this episode because Kyle's not here. Welcome back to another episode of the Luce's Fast Podcast, your podcast home for all things NASCAR and some things not. I am not Kyle Belcher. I am Dan Walker. Kyle is literally about to be airborne, coming home from his little vacation weekend in Florida. So we decided we waited an extra day, and we were hoping he'd be home tonight. But he might even just walk in. Actually, I don't think he lands till like 10 o'clock. So if we're still here, if we're still here at 10 o'clock, I'm
we're
gonna be
still
pissed.
recording. It's either very bad or very good.
Yeah. So, but I am Dan Walker, and I am joined as always by one Mr. Norman Pelletier.
Do the roar.
Do the roar. And yeah, we're going to recap a little bit of NASCAR action at Martinsville this weekend. Two okay races and one giant shit show.
Which one was which, Dan?
Oh, we'll get there. But first, normally this is my job. I'll help you if you need to, because I just kind of sprung this.
No,
on
we've
you.
changed it so many
We've
times.
changed it. I mean, if you want, I can just go. I can just roll.
I'll
with
do
it.
it.
I don't care. All right, Norm, pay the bills.
This episode and every other episode before this and every episode after this and every episode in the near future and every episode on this channel has been brought to you by the Revival Motoring Network, and especially our hostesses with the mostesses, the Revival Motoring Podcast.
Yes.
Those guys have been keeping us afloat for this long, and hopefully we're not taking them down with us, because this show is going to be bad.
This is going to be real bad.
But we are also brought to you by ourselves, the Loose is Fast Podcast.
Yes, we are.
We have a merch store that also helps us, and that is a way for you guys to help us by buying some sick-ass merch. The merch store is at loosesfastpodcast.com.
I wanted to give you your flowers because I know people have been requesting certain things.
Yeah.
You went above and beyond.
Bro, I spent like 4 hours the other night just like transferring, and nothing is ever easy on these damn websites.
Mhm. I remember
It's
you
like
guys
you have to
saying
do
that.
everything individually, one at a time. One of the shirts, I added 4 or 5 lady shirts because we had some lady recommendations or requests.
Yeah.
Added some sleeveless tanks for the boys.
I'm
for
hyped about that.
for them muscle bros.
I got to get me one of those.
I added a couple different T-shirt designs for us gentlemen that have arms that we don't like to show the world.
Yep.
I added a couple fun little things, a metal can koozie.
I like that. The metal koozie.
It's super cool. Unfortunately, it has to be expensive.
Yeah,
There was no way around that.
Yep.
We are making like $4 on it, if that. Super cool metal can koozie, though. It's the old Cars logo that you will see on the header of this episode, and on Spotify, like the car, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, I think, are the two cars on it.
Yep.
With the Loose is Fast Podcast logo wrapping around the outside of the can koozie. Super cool. Also added a vanity license plate.
Saw that. The plate frame's fucking dope.
That worked out to fit that plate perfectly. Hopefully that's a high quality. It's a metal plate.
Is it metal?
Yep. So
Nice.
that'll be super cool for, say, you have a camper. That'd
Yeah,
be
I'm
cool
gonna
for
have
the
to get
back
one.
of that.
I'm gonna probably get one and add
Also-
it to the bottom of my NASCAR plate.
License plate frames. I don't know if anyone's ever going to buy any. They're kind of cool. It's just black. I think it's also metal.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
license plate frames, hopefully it abides by your state regulations.
Don't go to Ocean City. I got pulled over for a
I
plate
think
frame.
it's cut out for at least all the plates that I know, especially New Hampshire, for our registration stickers
Yep.
and month stickers. It's clear. It covers the bottom, but it doesn't cover the top. Some states will let you do that. Some states won't. If you get in trouble, it's not my fault. They had 2 options, and this was definitely the better of the 2.
Yep, it looks awesome.
Also, doggy bandanas.
Is it a bandana or is it a dog bandana?
It's a bandana.
Okay, because I know like our dogs have bandanas, but they're bandanas that are like looped at the end, so you like put them on the collar.
They have collar bandanas I could have done.
Yeah,
But this is just normal
That's
bandana. Use it for yourself.
we
your
can wear it around our
dogs.
face when we rob
I
banks.
mean, yo, rep the hood, dog.
Yeah.
Shit. don't know if
Fly
there's-
yo colors.
Represent or get the hell out.
But you put a lot of shit. Like I went in there expecting just to see like lady shirts, and I was
Yeah.
like, damn, he went off. Like he put a lot of shit in
Yeah, I
here.
added
So.
a couple different, like I said, men's T-shirts. I don't think I was looking at trying to do stickers, but there's nothing really like. They either have like really cheap die cut stickers that
Yeah.
always have like a white outline and just didn't look good, or they have like a one size fits all bumper sticker
Yeah,
that didn't fit anything I had pre-made.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna maybe adapt our previous bumper stickers to fit that. I
Yeah.
gotta get the dimensions of it. So yeah, I added a bunch of stuff. I don't think I added any new hats or anything like that. But go on there. Let us know if there's anything you guys want us to add, change,
100%.
any special requests. We got requests for big Loses Fast on the center of the shirt.
Yep.
We had made some for ourselves in the past. I added that. I also added Loses Fast long text, which
saw
I use
that.
on
Yep.
some of the
I like that.
iRacing paint schemes.
That's a sharp. I don't know why I like that. The long text logo.
I
love
also
that.
brought back our OG shirt, our OG Loses Fast shirt with the cars on it.
Yep.
I have that and a men's shirt as well. So I just added a bunch of stuff. Hopefully something tickles you guys' fancies.
Hopefully that one that Kyle brought up will work out. If we can get the jerk shirt that never was.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah, that's been one of my ideas. That takes time to sit
that's
down,
a tough one. Yeah.
design it. I also was thinking the sleeveless T-shirt thing got an idea brewing. I kind of want to do something cool 4th of July.
Yes.
So hopefully I can get that done. Unfortunately, it would be perfect for Pocono,
Yep.
but I think Pocono's pre-4th of July this year.
It's the 20th.
And then Loudon's probably a little late. But for you guys that like America, I'm going to try to whip up something cool.
Act like I'm not going to act like I won't wear it in June, bro.
Yeah.
Other ways you can help us, you can go leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts. We have a new one. The title, 5 stars, I'm so loose for this pod. From LOL But Mobile. I don't know who LOL is.
But Mobile?
No, like LOL But Mobile. Or Butt Mobile, but it's one T, so I don't think they were going for the Butt Mobile. I don't know.
LOL But Mobile.
Or Butt Mobile, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh.
This pod is the epitome of loose, just the way I like it. 69 out of 10.
I don't know who this is.
I don't know who it could be. That's
This
kind
could
of
be literally anybody. Dale Jr. Is this you?
yeah, that could be anybody. And the other fun way you can leave us reviews, which I've recently just learned about in the last couple weeks. So you can leave us 5 stars on Spotify, which is awesome. We've got god damn it. I keep clicking on Joe's. He made like a playlist for the podcast that everyone's been contributing to, and I keep clicking on it.
That's the worst.
Thinking that it's the show. We're up to 153, still at a 4.9. But I do love now that people can leave comments on the shows. So I've been going back, read the previous week's comments. We got 2 last week. One from Mr. Flat Out Forever. I love Luce's Fast. When I miss the races on a weekend and know the boys will get me up to speed with what happened in the news, the drama, and the races. And then one from Steven. This one made me tear up a little bit. Door Bumper Clear is such a shit show compared to these guys. This pod is the one I've been looking for my whole life. I appreciate y'all and all that y'all do. I appreciate you, Steven.
I saw Steven on the Discord. Maybe it's the same Steven.
Maybe it's the same Steven.
There
There's
was
a Steve O.
I think there was a new Steven on the Discord.
Oh, maybe.
I'm not going to dox him. Nope, I was way off.
Way off?
Yep, it's not Steven at all. It might be Steven. Who knows? But Steven, thank you.
Yeah, J. Your review was very good. You're right.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I don't like to give other podcast flowers that often on here because this is our show.
This is our show. Everybody else can suck it.
This is my rock. But I don't mind Luce's or Door Bumper Clear this year.
The new lineup is great. I like it. The only thing I dislike about it is I feel like since they went uncensored, they're trying too hard.
Yeah, that and they're trying to
It doesn't feel natural.
continue the banter with Carson that they had with Casey. Feels a little bit forced.
Yeah.
Like they used to talk down to Casey, but that was kind of their thing.
The running joke.
Is
Yeah.
because Casey was so high and mighty about herself that they would bring her down a peg and it was fun because it would just bounce right off her.
Carson seems to have our sense of humor
Yeah,
where she's
Carson
like
is definitely more like one of the guys.
one of the dudes. Yeah.
But they still try to berate her and it's just that's not the not the right vibe.
No, but I like it.
Tommy, I had no idea.
Tommy's awesome. I could listen to him.
He's been in the shadows for years, and obviously he's been a part of NASCAR forever. It feels like.
Yeah.
But he is a riot to listen to.
He's so goddamn funny.
And every week when there's almost a fight, he's like, "Why didn't they just fight? I would have fought.
I would have
No
fought
shit,
him." Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
But I actually really like DBC this year.
Yeah, I do too. So yeah, that's ways you can help us out with merch and reviews. Anything else? I don't think anything else. Oh, go subscribe to the YouTube. We're live right now on the YouTube, but you'll be listening to this tomorrow when we're no longer live. Uh-oh, did we lose the camera? You got it?
Still working on the TV.
Oh, there we go. My YouTube was black. I was like, oh no, I have it on the phone and my YouTube was black. I got scared for a second there.
Called night mode, Dan.
Yeah, this is we're learning as we go here today. Yeah, so go subscribe to the YouTube. That's the Luce's Fast podcast. Go subscribe to or go follow us on old X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and Instagram at Luce's Fast _pod. I'm trying to be better about doing the whole Twitter thing, but it sucks. Race season's tough because a lot of the times I'm watching the race later, so I can't do stuff during the race.
Just watch the races when they're live.
I know I need to, apparently.
I feel like you've gotten Dan is our ghost Twitter, much like Brett is the Couch Racer ghost Twitter. But Dan has, I think, gotten a little better about being less him on it. You're kind of spreading more of we feel this.
That's
and you'll
how
take
I was trying to do
something I said on Discord or Kyle said on Discord, rather than it for a while was just an outlet of you.
Yeah,
which wasn't ever really that bad. Although you'd have a conversation with like Ed on Twitter and be like, Dan, you're on the
Sometimes I
The
forget.
Loses
Yeah, I
Fastest
did it.
or Twitter.
I literally did it today with Connor Ferguson of Always Race Day.
yeah.
He put up something about remember the picture.
Titans? Never forget.
Remember the picture years ago when Tyler Sagan was on the Bruins and there was the girls holding the sign.
Yeah.
He posted that, and I was like, that's not real, right?
What?
That was a Photoshop. The real sign said, "I wish I got 2 minutes for hooking," not the
Oh, Tyler
we
Sagan.
we S'd your D in high school. Do you
Yeah.
remember? Yeah, no, that was a Photoshop. And he was like,
No.
I've gone my whole life thinking that was real. And I was like, no, bro, it wasn't. And I showed him the real picture. And I realized that, like, crap, this is the show account now, whatever. He knows who we are. So, but yeah, so those are the ways you can help us. Let me get back to my notes because I am not as fluid at this as Kyle is. All right. So now we'll get into the old callback segment. I don't even know what sound does he normally use for that?
Car crash, maybe?
We'll go with that one. I don't even care. It's my show now.
We ain't fucking leaving.
We ain't fucking leaving. So, callbacks. Let's get into race picks. Some of us had a good weekend. Some of us had a bad weekend. Crap. I did the math. Did you do the math? Because I did the math, but I didn't save it.
I have the math.
Okay.
It might not be right. But because Kyle is too lazy to show up to do the podcast, my math is the one we're going to use.
Perfect.
So the graphic, if I'm wrong, the graphic will be wrong. But I don't have individual points because I do it total.
Yeah.
But Dan had like a whopping 64 points.
I had 64. You had 35. And Kyle ended up with 5.
Boom.
5 points.
Dan picked Mr. Dennis Hamlin
Yep.
and took the W.
Yeah. So I had what? A stage win, race win,
Fastest lap.
fastest lap, 5 points for beating you guys, and the bonus 5 for winning the race. I mean, massive.
You
The
got
only
the 2
way,
stars.
the only way I could have gotten more points is if he won.
If he
the
did
first
anything in
stage.
stage 1.
Yeah, he was like, he got like 2 points in stage 1, I think. Yeah.
But Dan picked Dennis Hamlin, won the whole damn thing. I picked Mr. Ryan Preece, who showed up at the end.
I thought you were cooked, and then all of a sudden he's in 7th, and I'm
then
like, okay.
Kyle picked Josh Berry,
Battery's not included.
who, Josh Berry low on voltage is who he picked. And unfortunately, Kyle lost tremendously because he sucks, and it's not anything to do with Berry.
He had almost a 20-point lead coming into this weekend, and now he's...
Yep. So the overall points, we have a new leader, possibly for like the first time. In a long time.
I led early.
Yeah,
We've
I don't
swapped
think
back and forth a
Dan's
couple
ever
times.
led in points, but Dan is currently leading in points with 240 points.
Woo! Big day.
In second place, close behind. Not really. Me, Norm, with 207 points.
Bro, I have like a 30-something point lead. Are you kidding
and then
me?
Kyle, all the way in the basement, possibly not even recoverable.
No.
203 points. I don't think he's coming back.
He ain't. Nope.
It's too far in the season for Kyle to come
It
back.
hurt me to have to root for Denny this weekend, but the boy did me good. I'll give him that. I'll give him credit. He did good for me. Levi, don't worry. The curse is gone for now.
I just want to look. Currently, Dan, if we were racing against the NASCAR guys, would be third in points.
Let's go.
William Byron has 259. Kyle Larson has 253. Dan has 240.
Let's go.
So you're doing pretty good, even though we were counting points. No, we didn't really do duels or anything.
No,
so
we
these
didn't.
are legitimate
No,
points.
we did. No, we had bonus points for the duels. That's it. It was just like you got 5 points.
I would be in 9th place, and Kyle would be in 10th place.
Yeah, we're all top 10. I'll take that.
Yeah. But that's not how we're doing it. So right now, Dan is leading the 3 of us. But because Dan decided to blow his wad earlier this week, he's picking last.
I'm picking
Kyle.
last. I will say Kyle still has the largest single day point total. He got 66 with Larson at Homestead.
Yeah, well, Kyle sucks. He's never going to win. Kyle is picking somebody who's pretty strong here. Kyle went with old William H. Byron III. I think it's a good pick.
I think that's a solid pick. He won, 2 years ago in the Chrome Illusion car?
Yep. I'm going to pick somebody who, last time we saw him here, he was facing the wrong way, but he's overall good here, Mr. Kyle Larson.
Smart move. Smart.
He's going to win Scheme of the Week, and he's going to win all the stages, give me 1 million points.
I was thinking about taking him, but when I took him last year with his killer throwback, he ended up backwards. So I've just decided
cool
against
picture,
that.
though.
I think I'm going to kind of, I don't know, I want to say punt this one because he's good here, but we're still kind of growing. I'm going to take Mr. Chase Briscoe, last year's Southern 500 winner.
1-9.
Uno 9-0. So we'll see. Like I said, he won last year going away. Obviously, completely different team, different car. but they are starting to gain momentum as a new team. They've had like 2-3 good finishes in a row after kind of being shit at the beginning of the year. So
Right. They kind of they got that huge penalty.
yeah, and then got
and
it
then
revoked.
just didn't do shit
Yeah.
after that. And then as soon as the penalty got overturned, they're like, all right, we could cheat again. And now they've been doing good.
Well, cheated up this weekend, kids.
Yep.
So
another strong week of picks for us.
yeah, I think so. We're
We've
still
been,
early
we've been
enough.
definitely going horde this year trying to get them points.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is it's not like you just. I'm trying to think
Right.
of.
Well, we
who-
can carry points week to week. So you don't have to worry about it. Like if last week, if you picked Denny Hamlin, I wouldn't have been afraid to pick Bubba Wallace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even if Denny Hamlin wins, Bubba Wallace could still get top 5, get me a bunch of points.
Exactly. And that last year it was you had to go for who you thought would finish the best out of everybody.
And we're going to Homestead, and you picked Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
And I'm right behind you. I'm not gonna now blow William. I'm not gonna blow my William Byron pick.
That's the old NASCAR effect right there.
I would think that hey, William Byron's gonna come in third. That's gonna be a great day, but Kyle Larson's probably gonna win.
Yeah.
But this year, because of how we're doing it with the points,
I love it. I think
which
it's
I
great.
was super against, but now I'm into it. I think it's more fun now because I've been comparing us to the Cup points because we're keeping track of points pretty much the same way Cup is, although our bonus points kind of give us a little false skew because you got an extra 10 points
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to keep track of it and be like, oh, we're doing pretty good. I'm doing better than Christopher Bell this year.
That is kind of fun. Yeah.
So I've been keeping track of that. Like I said, it's not 100% accurate, but it's a little bit more fun to add on to it.
All right. Now it's time for everybody's allegedly least favorite.
Yeah,
segment
definitely
of the
the most
week.
criticized part of our
Yeah,
podcast.
you are getting roasted. But like you said to somebody this week, good thing it's an opinion, not fact.
Yeah.
It is time for Norm's Scheme of the Week.
And
What do you
it's
got?
my scheme of the week.
Not yours. It's Norm's.
It's mine.
I've already been getting threats. Where did I get that threat from? Oh, the Instagram question. Somebody threatened you about Scheme of the Week this week.
Hey, go fudge yourself, mate.
There were some all right ones.
There's some all right ones. Big hitter right off the bat, Ross Chastain with this whatever choice privileges thing is.
I thought that was sharp.
Super cool paint scheme.
Yeah.
It looked super good. I liked it a lot. Looked really good in renders on the car. It was similar to like whose car did I talk about? Bubba a couple weeks ago with the Air Force car.
Yes.
Where it's kind of like black and gray. It looks great in renders, but it's hard to
It
show it
doesn't
on the real
translate.
car.
Yeah.
Which was kind of what I found with the choice privileges car with Ross Chastain. Really good
Didn't we
scheme.
figure that out last year? Isn't it like some sort of hotel
Yeah,
rewards?
they like own hotel chains.
Yeah.
Another good scheme. Mr. Noah Gragson.
I thought that
the
car
A&W
was
car
fire.
looked really good. They've had some hitters. The 34 also looked cool. Denny's. I still love Denny's scheme. I know it's boring, but it's really good looking.
It's growing. I didn't like it at first, but it's starting to like. I kind of like it.
Honorable mention: the 12 car, the advanced scheme. I love it. Unfortunately, they've been running the same thing for years. 17. Honorable mention: 3/4 of that car looked great. The old El Paso taco car, even though they tried to kill me on Sunday
Yes.
and made my tummy hurt.
Oh,
I
yes.
had old El Paso tacos.
If they just didn't have the white hood, that car would have been
They're-
phenomenal.
I don't know if they're learning or if it just worked with the scheme, but this week with Ryan Priest's car, they did white hood all the way to white roof and trunk.
Yeah. So
And it actually looks
it
good on the
blended.
scheme.
Yeah.
But the white hood for the Kroger is kind of killing these schemes for me.
That 17 car looks like the hood flew up in practice and they had to put a random hood on it. Oh wait, that was Justin Haley.
35, the Lucy car.
Is that what that
I
was?
actually
It
liked
was,
it
it was
a
the
lot.
Lucy
The
packet.
problem is because it's nicotine packed, the entire car is the Surgeon General
Is a
warning.
Surgeon General warning? Yep.
So it kind of takes away from the scheme. But my scheme of the week is going to go to, I forget. McJesus
Oh, absolutely.
in the Sean Connery car.
I love that they're advertising that race on a car
Dude,
in a different race.
I don't know. Like the scheme is pretty simple, which is kind of what I'm into on the next gen
You
cars.
are, yeah, 100%.
I like simple schemes. This is very much, if you look closely, Dan, it's very close to your original Circle Jerks next gen. I made.
It looked super familiar.
It
Yeah.
looks a lot like your Circle Jerks next gen, but it's got the Rock. The Rock logo is sick on it. Obviously, Rockingham Speedway. They're advertising their return to NASCAR this season.
In a couple weeks.
It says The Rock on it. It's black and white with just a red number. Super cool scheme.
It's very simple, yeah.
Sick logo. And every time I saw it on TV, I did my old Sean Connery and Welcome to the Rock.
Welcome to the Rock. Yeah.
Good speed.
Good speed.
Do you know what good speed means?
I haven't watched that movie in
I
probably
watched it like
15
6 months
years.
ago.
I haven't watched it
freaking
in
love that
so
movie.
long.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
Sean Connery is just the best. But the problem is, I can't hear the Sean Connery voice and think of Sean Connery. I hear the Sean Connery voice and I think of SNL Jeopardy.
Oh yeah.
Your mother, Trebek. Like every time. But since we're on the subject, we're going to get into it heavy next week. But boy, some of these throwbacks.
Early throwbacks games. Cup
Cup
hit or
isn't
miss.
even trying.
We've talked about this, and this has been a hot topic. Cup seems like they put the least amount of effort into it.
And like somebody was saying earlier this week, and I agree with them, I feel like Xfinity, the sponsors aren't as big time.
Yep.
They're giving these guys way more leeway
They're spending way less money.
to manipulate the logos like we talk about. Obviously, the perfect throwback is the correct number, the correct colors, and the correct sponsor. That would be like, again, basically Larson's was as close to perfect as you're going to get
Yeah.
last year and even this year. But
Last year, a little better because with Larson's car this year, obviously last year he threw back to the classic
the
carries yellow
cornflakes car, the
Kellogg's
cornflakes car, yeah.
And they adapted the scheme perfectly to fit the next gen. We saw a big
They
fail.
shifted it forward.
We saw a big fail with this with Bowman. He ran I think it was back in the 88 days. It might have been more recently, but they ran a Valvoline throwback at Darlington.
Yeah.
And they didn't move the scheme
Well,
forward.
one of the worst ones I remember was, remember the 6 car did like, or somebody in RFK did a throwback to one of the Viagra cars.
Yeah.
And it was, they didn't shift anything. It was just this giant void behind the number.
And then this blue circle was
Yes.
halfway in the door
Yep.
when it was supposed to be around the number. So Larson's last year with the 5 Kellogg's car, which is why it's peak throwback in the next gen era, is they adapted the scheme to fit the number.
They shifted those diagonal stripes to,
Like I said, with Bowman, he did a Valvoline scheme a couple years
I remember
ago.
that.
I forget which Valvoline guy it was a throwback to.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the common Mark Martin one you see, but it was,
one of the older ones.
it
I
had
think.
the red, blue, and blue stripes behind the number, but they didn't move it, so it didn't line up with the number.
Yeah.
So it didn't look right. And that's kind of the problem with the Tony the Tiger.
They didn't shift. They should have shifted
Larson
the tiger
scheme.
stripes forward.
It looks fine. I mean, it looks exactly like they want it to look,
Yeah.
but the blue and the Kellogg's in the rear quarter are where they were on the original car. They didn't adjust them to move
What
them
killed
forward.
me is I didn't notice it when I first saw the render. I was like, dude, that is so sick. Then I saw the pictures where they unveiled it next to the original, and I was like, oh, that looks odd.
Yeah,
Something
there's
looks
just a
weird
little bit
there.
of blank space. It's still probably going to win throwback of the week next week because there haven't been a bunch of cup hitters.
And I would like to bring this opportunity. We talked about it today. I tweeted about it in the show's account. I'm sorry. If you're RFK, Spire, I mean, we've
Trackhouse.
already seen, I know Trackhouse they've released Chastain's scheme this week and it's not a throwback. How do you go into this week that everybody loves? I don't know if you listen to Stack and Pennies, but Ryan Flores said it perfectly. It's NASCAR Halloween. Like,
Yeah.
you get to have fun and do fun things. I would rather see teams do the shitty Chase Elliott throwback he's doing this week than nothing at all. You know? Like,
Yeah, it's lazy, and you're letting corporate America call the shots.
You're letting
which
the
is what
sponsors
we
win.
assume is happening.
100%.
It could be the teams are lazy and don't want to pay the graphic designer extra money, don't want to pay the rap guys extra
Yeah.
money. Who knows what the true reason is? We're assuming that much like Chase's throwback is these sponsors don't really want to bend the knee.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to, hey, yeah, we're UniFirst. We have 2 colors, teal, or 3 colors, teal, white, and gray. Don't change our colors.
Yeah.
Don't change our font. We want to be on the 9 car. Keep the 9 the
was
same
like
font it
The one
is.
that always bothered me was, remember, it was a couple years back. I think it was still Gen 6. Bubba did a throwback to like a Kyle Petty car. The only thing that was even a throwback was the stripe design. The colors were wrong. Everything was wrong. Like, you couldn't even tell it was a throwback. It just looked like a different
I'm
paint
trying to
scheme.
think of, there was one that was really bad. The 47 always is bad.
Yeah.
There was one, Blaney last year. I think it was a throwback to like his Arca car or something.
Yes.
And none of the colors were right.
Yeah.
And it looked nothing like his original scheme.
I hate it because I feel like we have less and less cup sponsors that are willing to let these guys have fun.
In Chase's, I mean, I could nitpick Chase's throwback. It's a throwback to a Ken Schrader Kodiak
the
car,
Kodiak car.
which is, first of all, super random. I think it might have been a Hendrick or a Hendrick
It is.
affiliated car.
It was so I looked up I think it was the next year's Ken Schrader Kodiak car.
had
and
Hendricks
Had a Hendrick
name
sticker
on it.
on the side, and even in the
The
someone noticed it in the headrest.
padding,
yeah.
But I'm thinking the only reason why Chase is even throwing back to that scheme is because the colors were close enough to the UniFirst
In the
colors
ballpark. Yeah.
that they could run their UniFirst colors and not have to explain it, kind of like it looks close enough.
It's close enough.
But
yeah.
the Chase scheme is so lazy. They modified the scheme in weird ways, like they wrapped around the wheel arches, which, if you've been following what I've been talking about all year, that's definitely to trick some sort of scanner, because we talked about it a lot with the Hendrick cars at Atlanta and Daytona, where the wrap was changed on the front
Yeah.
bumpers of the cars,
Yeah.
and now Chase just so happens to the only thing they changed design wise, other than the colors, is they added wheel well arches
Yeah.
to the paint scheme. Which, why did you do that?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a complete swing and a miss. I'm trying to think of other ones that have been similar to this that have just been such bad efforts.
It's the ones that, like, they say they're a throwback, but it's a throwback in the stripe design only. Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. There was somebody that last year, the year before, it looked nothing like it.
yeah, it's,
They're like, this is a throwback to Buddy Baker, and it's like that doesn't look like any of his cars.
but I would rather them do that than Spire is trotting out the Gainbridge car, or the
Yep.
71's normal, the 77's
you know who always hit
normal.
it out of park? RP SHR.
Oh, SHR was fire.
SHR always had hitters. We had
2311's running a McDonald's car. But I know Bubba's, was it Bubba or was it
Reddick's running the
Reddick's
bun
got
car.
the bun car? So it's like you got nothing out of them. RFK, like the 6 car is a special paint scheme, but it's some motor oil with gold chrome numbers. Like,
Yeah.
I
Super
just
sick paint scheme, but you missed the mark.
like, how do you
'cause-
go from last year? You had one of the top 3 last year with the Castrol car,
Yeah.
and you just do nothing this year. You do nothing at all, and it's just so that's why we've been joking on Discord all week that Xfinity is just absolutely murdering it. I mean, just a quick thought of it. You've got the 4 car throwing back to the Kodak car. Then someone's doing the Nesquik car. The 88 is the Buddy Baker with the chrome numbers and the fade, the Crisco car. And they all look fucking perfect. All the
Yeah.
JRM cars, the 3 doors down car, the 88, the 1 being the Jamie McMurray Bass Pro car. We're not talking like these aren't just throwing back to like in spirit. They are photo replicas of
Yeah.
the cars. You know, and that's why like the Nesquik car, I forget who that was, who even is running
the-
that car. It's the 50?
I thought it was
I don't
like
rem-
70.
Maybe. I don't remember who it was. But they have some sort of like electrical company that I don't even know what it is, but I know there's a cable on the hood.
Yeah, it's like conduit.
There's
coming
like
through
a
the hood of the
conduit
car.
coming through the hood, but they let their logo look like the old
Yeah.
Yoo-Hoo logo, and there's chocolate milk splashed. I mean, that old Jeff Green car. Like every Xfinity scheme that comes out is like, holy shit, that is so good.
And we have some decent ones in Cup. I know the Logano one looks really good.
Yep.
The Blaney one, really good effort,
I like it in spirit.
but the car is so fucking ugly.
yeah.
The only
Yeah.
good part about it is that H. Scott numbers,
Yep.
which have always been my favorite number font. H. Scott always had good looking numbers, like Clint Boyer when he drove the 15 for H. Scott was such a good looking car. But the 22 looks really good. The 2 is wicked good.
Yeah.
It's a Dale Earnhardt throwback. Looks super cool, but giant silver Freightliner logos on it.
Yeah.
Kind of ruined the entire scheme. So there are some decent Cup ones. The 24 looks fine, but the 24 is tough because it's throwing back to Jeff Gordon's final race,
The silver flame
which
car.
wasn't his final race, but they're throwing back to his final full-time race. But it's like, okay, William Byron ran that paint scheme pretty much 3 weeks ago.
I saw a chart that it was like a graphic of all of the William Byron throwbacks. He's done like 5 flame car throwbacks. It's like, come on. Like, you got to try a little.
Problem is, Exalta is his sponsor at Darlington.
Yeah,
If we put Liberty University or something on it at Darlington, we'll get a different throwback.
exactly. Yeah.
But because it's Exalta, which Exalta is the new name for DuPont, they're just going to throw back to a Jeff Gordon
like,
scheme every
God,
year. Which,
just-
spoiler alert, Jeff Gordon raced 3 paint
Well,
schemes
no, he
in
had
his
a-
entire
I mean,
life.
You could do, I still think, how have they not done the T-Rex car? Like,
I thought
how?
that they were teasing.
they
it.
were teasing it. You got the T-Rex car, the Nicorette car, the line. You don't have to have, doesn't have to say
Yep.
Nicorette on it, but just make an Exalta lime green. Was that lime green flames,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly?
Yeah, it was yellow flames with
Yeah.
a green paint scheme.
You've got, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. You got any of the All-Star cars that he ran. He had a
Yeah,
bunch of
I mean,
different
just-
ones. Like,
Don't run a Jeff Gordon scheme. You throw back to Jeff Gordon every single week. You have that number on that car.
exactly. His car's a throwback every
Just
week.
like Bowman, it's lazy to throw back to a Jimmy Johnson paint scheme.
Agreed.
You're throwing back to Jimmy Johnson every week. You have that 48 number on your car. Change it up. They did a teaser where they were like
Which car should we throw back to?
panning the camera around the Hendrick Museum,
Yeah.
and they shined on 2 cars. One, the T-Rex car,
Yep.
which if we ever get that throwback for the 24 car, it's going to sell like hotcakes.
And that needs to be the Raptor car.
And then they flashed by Darrell Waltrip's Tide 17,
Oh.
which I just started doing the math in my head. Like, that would be a super cool throwback for the 48 car.
Yep.
Because you got to think Tide 4 letters, Ally 4 letters. You could make Ally
make it work,
in the
yeah.
Tide like splash
Yep.
sun thing. I was like, that'd be a super cool throwback. Nope, they threw back to literally Jimmy Johnson's worst paint scheme,
Yeah, it's like a black and white.
which was his Cobalt Racing Stripe scheme.
Yeah.
Which they didn't even throw back to properly because they put given God tier Ally Hood logo back on
It
it.
is the good one, yeah.
But that killed the racing stripes. Oh, the racing stripes are the L's. It's like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't look bad. It would be a perfectly fine primary scheme, to be
yeah.
honest. It looks fine, but it's just a lazy throwback. And that's what a lot of these teams do is lazy throwbacks. The 20 car, straight hitters. Christopher Bell's running in the Cup and Xfinity race.
Yes.
He's running the 19 in Xfinity, 20 in Cup. Both throwing back to, I think, his...
One of them is his sprint car, and the other one is his like mentor.
Yeah.
I think it was when he got so his Cup car is the guy that like was his mentor in sprint car racing, and the Xfinity car
I think they're
is,
both the same dude.
I thought I thought
I thought it was his crew chief.
I thought I saw a picture of the Xfinity car with him standing next to it, like the sprint car. Like
Well, it's the same design. It's
yeah.
the cool hood stripe
Yeah.
going down to
and
like
the
kind
roof
of the
looks like
spike
it's
on the side.
and the roof is supposed to mimic the wing. It's like a silver brushed roof
Yep.
to
but
mimic a roof wing.
The 20 car looks great. The 11 probably won't have a throwback.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything out of them yet.
54 definitely won't have a throwback. 19 probably won't have a throwback.
Yeah, I feel like if we
So
haven't
it's
seen
just,
it yet,
It's just weird that
But we haven't
some teams
seen-
do good and some teams
I
don't.
mean, we haven't seen anything out of RCR yet.
The 41 throwing back to Kurt's Daytona 500 win 2017 or
sick.
18 with the grass on the hood.
A little weird.
My only complaint with the whole thing is the grass on the hood, totally necessary. I love
is.
it. My only complaint is like you couldn't do the original 41.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't have the SHR 41
Yeah.
on it, which I found weird.
it's just crazy. Like the Xfinity, all the Xfinity teams, it's like they changed number fonts. They changed everything.
You got to think those sponsors have one less zero behind them on the paycheck.
Yeah.
The sponsors probably have a little less say in what goes on.
Like
But-
if we were on, let's say Brad was running this week and we were on the deck lid and he was like, "Hey, we want to change the logo to look like the fucking Skittles car." Do
Yeah.
it. Sold all day. Have fun.
Yeah, change it. Send us the logo. We're making T-shirts.
Exactly.
Like-
And that's us. That we don't have a problem. We're just happy to be involved. And I bet
Yeah.
you that's how a lot of those sponsors are. But when you get an Ally, Freightliner, they're gonna, like you brought up, I saw you guys talking today in the Discord about the 12 car, how it's got the vintage Pennzoil logo, but the current Shell logo. And it's
22.
like, or what did I say, the 22.
Yeah, which makes no sense given the Shell text on the quarter looks fine because Shell's kind of going for they kind of retroed up their text a little bit.
Yeah.
But the modern shell on the back of it looks completely out of place in
Yeah.
that car.
So, but we will dive even deeper into that next week once the race is over, once we actually get to see them all out on track. I am very excited. This is one of my favorite weekends and subsequently episodes of the year because I
Yeah.
love digging into these.
Yeah, Darlington, that's 2 races. I don't think Trucks race here. They're
Nope.
off for a couple weeks probably.
They
But-
used to, though, because I remember throwback trucks and they don't do it anymore.
Xfinity and Cup are 2 very good races. Xfinity always
Xfinity is
comes
gonna
down
be-
to a banger.
Xfinity is going to be a banger. And even the Cup.
Especially if we have a couple ringers in there. I don't know. Is William Byron racing the 17 this weekend?
I don't know, actually. I don't
I'm pretty
know
sure
if-
one of them is.
I think
it's
one of them
Willie
is.
B.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me check.
But it'll come down to like a Willie B, Christopher Bell, and throw in one Xfinity guy into the mix. Sheldon Creed, Jesse Love. It'll come down to like 3 bangers at the end. It always does.
Here we go.
The 17
That's
might
Cup
be a Corey
Series.
day.
Here we go. Xfinity. That is Chase.
Chase Elliott.
Chase is running the 17 this
All right.
weekend.
So they'll have like a pit penalty or something. I feel like
Probably.
much like when fucking they stick Bowman in that thing, and it's always some sort of like, yeah, we put the wrong gear in it.
Well, he did good at Phoenix. Almost won at Phoenix.
Yeah.
But
He did it good at Phoenix, but I feel like it's whenever they put him in that car, something happens with the team.
yeah.
And
So
it's just like you put Willie B or Kyle Larson in that thing, and they just dominate, and then you get Chase and Bowman in. It's like, they were there.
yeah, exactly. So that is it for Paint Scheme Talk, Scheme of the Week, all that fun stuff. Now it's time for everybody's other favorite segment. The news! It's still funny. We're kind of picking at straws here. The couple big things came out just now, but we'll get there. I saw this. I just kind of scrolled J-Ski real quick. Lucas is back with KFB for 3 races. They was on the car this weekend.
Yep.
They're doing, so they did this weekend. They're doing Mexico City and the Bristol night race.
That's super cool.
I love that scheme.
Lucas is one of those companies that were like, why haven't they been in NASCAR longer?
yeah.
I mean, was it Bobby Gerhart
Ooh,
in
God.
ARCA?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Forever.
I remember
think
I remember
he
the car.
probably owned half the team or half the company. But they sponsored them. But I mean, I grew up with Lucas Oil being on everything.
Yeah.
Trophy trucks back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Monster Jam, dirt bikes. They were a part of everything but NASCAR.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that they're still here.
And
jumped
they're
on
dumping money
KFB.
in because not only are they with KFB, but they're sponsoring the helicopter to Xfinity races.
Yeah.
I don't know if
So-
you've noticed that on the CW. It's always the Lucas Oil helicopter shot.
Yeah, super cool. It's one of those companies. It's like Lucas Oil's been around for a while, and they're into performance stuff.
Yes.
So it's
Yep.
like why haven't you been here?
Yeah, that's like guys run that stuff, like you said, in their dirt bikes, their snowmobiles, their race cars, their whatever.
But yeah, they're the additive company. I mean, your engine's ticking, your engine's knocking. Pour some Lucas down the app.
Yep.
Always done that.
Another one, Beard Motorsports is back at Talladega, this time with Fast Pasta in the Cup car. So we always love to see Beard in the news. They usually entered the Daytonas and Talladegas, so that's cool.
Yeah, it hurt this year to not be pulling for him at Daytona.
Yeah. We didn't want him though. We had so many
there
other
was
people
too much
we wanted
on the
in.
line between Corey, Allgaier.
Yeah,
That at Daytona was like, I can't believe I'm rooting for Beard to miss the race.
same. Speaking of Corey, I didn't put this in the news, but did you see the release merch? It looks like he's gonna have a Schluter car at Bristol in a couple
I saw
weeks.
that.
Looks hot too. It's a
People were
black.
talking shit on Twitter like, this is how you release a paint scheme. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, who cares?
Half the time we don't release new paint schemes. They just show up to the track.
They just show up. We've got Greg Biffle and Carl Edwards in the news for Darlington this weekend. A little bit throwback weekend stuff. Greg Biffle is going to be the pace car driver, and Carl Edwards is the honorary starter. So these are two guys that we all grew up with who kind of disappeared and now are suddenly thrust back into our lives lately with Biffle doing all the Cletus stuff at Daytona. We saw a ton of him those couple weeks. Obviously, Carl Edwards with everything that's going on with him, going on the download, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, being a part of Prime.
All that stuff. So I'm excited. Kind of cool to see them coming back around. I'm with Kyle. I think Kyle said it originally when he got announced to Prime. It's like Carl thought no one wanted him around, and now he realizes like, oh, well, everyone still likes me.
Yeah, but Carl needs to reintroduce himself to the sport.
100%.
He's been out of it for almost 10 years. I mean, 7-8 years by now.
Yeah, because that was what, 2016, 17 that happened?
I think
Yeah.
17, because
Yeah.
that was Jimmy's last
Yes.
championship. Carl, I think, just needs to get used to going to the track, get used to what's different at the track now,
Yep.
and kind of just get reacclimated. I feel like he's just throwing his name around just to try to get fucking views on his YouTube.
Probably.
Like
Yeah.
literally, like he started up his YouTube, which I've watched a couple videos, nothing crazy, but he's having fun with it.
Yep.
Honestly, I think he's just trying to get name recognition back.
Yep.
I still didn't say that right, but I'm gonna
Just
move
roll
on.
with it.
He's just trying to get his name back out there. So people are like, "Oh, Greg Biffle, YouTube, Greg Biffle." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's his source of revenue to put gas in his 15 dune
Helicopters.
buggies and helicopters and motorhomes and stuff. So super cool. Both super cool dudes. I always liked both of them. So cool that they're both sticking
I'm
around and
excited
hanging
for that.
out.
We got some RCR news. Jesse Love is going to make his Cup debut at Bristol. I'm guessing in the 33 car.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
33 C4 car.
Yep. I mean, that's cool. I'm like on the fence with Jesse Love. I don't dislike him, but sometimes he annoys me. Like I'm on the fence with him. I don't know what it is.
It's the team he drives for.
It's the team he drives for. I bet
If he was at JRM, you'd love him because he's like, oh, he's Zilich's best friend.
Yeah,
Oh, they have fun
yeah.
on Twitter. Oh, he's a good driver. But because he's at RCR, it's just like the Austin Hill shadow is just
he does.
over
He gets
him.
he gets overshadowed
Yeah.
by Austin Hill 100%. Like
Super talented. Cool that he'll be in the Cup car.
yeah, I want to see what he does.
Bristol being
Bristol's
his first
I mean,
race.
your first race being Bristol. They always say Bristol. You can't hide there. There's nowhere to
You know
hide.
what's absolutely crazy about that though is that's also Corey's coming back for Bristol. What if you have to qualify your way into Bristol?
Oh God. I
Like
still
all
don't
of a sudden, just like 4 cars show up that need to get into the race.
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder what the lineup's going to be. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I did see this today. I saw a clip on Twitter. There was a Goodyear tire test today at Michigan.
Yep.
Apparently, they're testing some softer compounds for the 1.5 miles. I mean, Michigan's a 2 mile, but those bigger intermediate tracks. My question is, how the hell did you get any data? Because I saw the RFK video of Busher doing laps. They said it was 34 degrees.
Yeah, it's fucking Michigan.
Dude, Michigan's going to get, we're going to go to Michigan in, I think, the summer. It's going to be fucking 90 degrees. What are you learning today when it's 34 degrees out?
And what do we need to learn? Haven't the 1.5 miles and 2 miles
Mile and a
been
half's been
good?
great. I don't see the point. As soon as I saw the temperature, I'm like, what kind of data are they even getting? Because those tires are hard as fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter what compound it is. If it's 2 degrees above freezing, it's going to suck.
Yeah, we put these tires in and the cars can rev out 300 RPM more. Wonder why that is.
Yeah. So who was there? Busher, Gibbs, and Suarez were there testing for their
They're not going to get any fucking
Respective-
information from that.
respective manufacturers. I just thought that was really weird. Like, you're going to go to Michigan in March. I saw videos, the storm we got, they got it way worse. I saw
Yeah,
videos
but
in
Michigan's like North Texas. That place is freaking big.
Yes, true. So, I saw this shortly before we got here. This is kind of sick. So, obviously, Chase Elliott has the Prime sponsorship during the
Yep.
Prime area. Apparently, Prime is also going to be an associate on Larson's IndyCar and the Coke 600 car. And it was announced today that they have greenlit a feature-length documentary on the last 2 years of all of the double stuff.
Oh, so last year as well?
It says the last 2 years, so I'm assuming it's going to have all the shit from last year too.
Because I thought they were filming something last year.
Yes. Yep.
And it just never came out, so I assumed it was part of the Netflix doc.
No, apparently it's going to be a feature length, so full length documentary. I'm assuming they're going to show the lead up to last year, all the bullshit from last year, and then the redoing
Yep.
it for this year. And then so I'm excited for that. That'll be sick to get
Hey,
a kind of behind
I
the
love
scenes look at
Prime.
that.
Prime's doing great.
Yeah, that'll be awesome to get a behind the scenes look at that. So we've got that to look forward to. The Earnhardt doc to look forward to, which I am very excited.
I don't
for
know if
that.
I'm looking forward to the Earnhardt doc.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a tough one.
That is, like I said before, I think they're going to paint Dale Earnhardt in a different light. I think it's going to be a tough watch.
When I was watching practice this weekend, I had Prime on my phone while I was working on the room, and they kept showing that commercial. And every time I'm like, I see what Norm's saying. Like, it's just got this weird vibe to it, you know?
It's because it's like don't ever like put somebody on a pedestal type deal.
Kind of like a don't meet your heroes
Yeah.
kind of deal.
And
yeah.
I think this is, Junior said it. He goes, this is a closer look to my family than you will have ever seen before.
Yeah.
So I think genuinely this is going to be a must watch.
Yeah, 100%.
Like there's no way you can avoid watching this. But I think it's going to be like like this is real. Like,
Yes.
oh, he was a son of a bitch. Like,
Yeah,
oh, he sucked.
Yeah.
Like that. I wanted to want to hang out with that guy. And then like 5 minutes later, you can be like, he's my hero. Everything Dale does is
Yeah.
gold.
Just-
and then 5 minutes later, it's like, he sent his kids to military school.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to tell his son he loved him.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a
The
roller
doc
coaster.
ending with that scene of him hugging Junior and Teresa before the 500.
Yeah.
That guts me ever. Cause it's like,
Or the Daryl interview the day before.
the Terry Bradshaw, them doing donuts in the pace car. And
yeah.
where you gonna be? Oh, you gotta get up on the roof. I'll be here on Sunday. And it's like, I hate it. I can't watch that shit. Like it
Yeah.
burns me. Even though, you know what one always gets me, and it's in the Dale doc. So it's after the video of him hugging Teresa and Dale's got the stupid bleach blonde ramen noodle hair.
How dare you?
But it's I don't know what camera. I don't know if it was just B-roll from Fox or whatever. But there's a zoomed in video of Dale in the car. He's strapped in. He's got the helmet on, and he's just sitting in the seat with his eyes closed. Like, oh, it looked like he was taking a nap.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck was going through his head? And obviously, you had no idea that in 4.5 or 3.5 hours he was gone. You
Yeah.
know, that's always just gotten me. So I'm very excited for that.
Well, it's all this stuff that comes out, and I'm sure DW is going to be a part of this.
Yeah,
He was a
probably.
huge part of Dale Earnhardt's life. DW's wife prayed with Dale before every race.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot. It's going to be an emotional ride for sure.
Oh, I'm fully prepared
but
to
I
cry.
think the younger Dale stuff mixed with, and obviously Junior's been insanely researching his dad.
Yeah.
I'm pissed that this is kind of getting in the way of Junior's podcast series that he was doing.
Yeah, because he was supposed to do 1980 next, wasn't he? Yeah.
And I think he kind of sidelined that to work on this doc.
Yeah.
and he never kind of picked
I
it up
didn't
again.
think I would like that becoming Earnhardt as much as I did. That was such a
Bro, I want-
phenomenal
I want an
series.
audiobook.
Yeah,
Like,
I would.
Give me,
Yeah,
give me 32 hours of that song.
give me Dale Jr. just narrating like the 1994 season.
Yeah.
I'll
But I
listen to that
think
all day.
it's going to be the Kelly Earnhardt story, the Dale Jr. story, the Kerry Earnhardt story.
I'm sure they're going to
Who
dive
knows? They could fucking bombshell us with some Teresa
in.
shit.
They'll probably dive
Like if they
deep.
pull Teresa or
Oh,
Taylor
there's
out of the
no
woodwork
way.
for this,
There's no way.
that you never know.
Maybe.
They
I mean,
might have needed to get Teresa's permission, and she's like, "I'm gonna tell my side of the story, bitch."
and who knows? Yeah, but I think it's going to probably dive really into the early days, like the failed marriages,
Yeah.
if I don't win this weekend, we can't put food on the table, like shit like
Yeah,
that.
the relationship with his father,
with the
and
relationship
how
with
that
Kerry.
carried over
Yeah.
into him and his kids. So I think it's gonna be really real.
Yep, I
It's-
agree. It's,
it's
gonna be
not
raw.
It's not gonna be a highlight reel.
No, it's not gonna
Like
be.
it's not gonna be like, look at all the times Dale Earnhardt won a race.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that at all.
It's gonna be real, and I think it's gonna be insanely emotional, a must watch. But I'm afraid of some of the stuff.
Yep.
Just because it's like I said, he's my hero. He's on a fucking golden fucking pedestal.
Yeah.
Like pray to him every night before you go to bed, and like you're gonna get some shit like, oh yeah, that's
That's
unfortunate.
yeah, exactly. All right. Back to the news here. So this is from this weekend. Eric Jones in the news post race was disqualified from the race at Martinsville this weekend. He was 4 pounds light.
Thought it was 7. Was it 4?
Maybe it was 4. I don't know. W said it in the.
It might have been 4.
I
I
don't
was
remember.
thinking 7, but I think that was probably because
Yeah.
that was close to what Bowman was
yeah.
penalized for.
The team said that they will not be appealing. They said they thought they built in enough wiggle room, but obviously they cut it a little too close. And they
So Bosey was talking about it with the battery issue that
the 2 and the
Penske
21 had. Yeah.
They were thinking it might have been something related to the 43. He does massive deep dives, and unfortunately,
Some
came
of
out
them are
while I
hard
was
to
at
read.
work, so I didn't get to read all of it. And he was going super in depth. But Bosey thinks there was something battery related, so maybe they pulled a battery out
Maybe.
and never put a battery back
Well,
in.
even Skip said it on Stacking Pennies. He was talking about how they had John Wood on this week. I don't know if you got to listen to it or not.
yeah,
but
it was awesome. John Wood's awesome.
yeah, and they were talking about, with the voltage issues that the 21 had, and then obviously the 2 had, like, were they trying lighter weight alternators that maybe can't deal with? Because obviously at Martinsville, you've got so much electrical draw, cool suits, 18 brake fans. You've got everything going on, and he was talking about, the parasitic loss and weight and center of gravity. Like, are they trying lighter batteries or a lighter alternator that maybe can't keep up?
I'm
Like,
guessing it's batteries.
Yeah.
Obviously, with lithiums now, the problem is a nickel battery. You can drain that some bitch to 0,
Yep.
throw 12 volts at it, and the thing will come back to life.
Yep.
Lithium doesn't do that. Lithium, you get to a certain point and it's below saving.
It's done. Yeah.
Which is why typically you kill a battery in a car, they pull it out, they put a new one in. The old cars, it was a nightmare to do. You had to take a fucking firewall out, change it behind the wheel. But you can pull that out and then you immediately put it on the charger. And an hour later, when that next battery dies, you swap it out with the one
You're
you
just
just
switching.
charged.
You're just switching 2 batteries
The
back and
fact
forth.
that it sounds like Penske either didn't have enough batteries because both the 2 and the 21 ended up going out.
Yep.
They seemingly were killing batteries past the point of recharge,
Yep.
which tells me that they were trying something new. And
Well, did
maybe
you hear
they-
what John said? Because they said they would have gotten a stage win. He was basically like, that battery was going to die at a predetermined minute in time.
Yeah.
That battery, it had 10 minutes of life left in it. And there was that late stage caution in stage 1 with like 10 to go. And that screwed Barry. Barry ended up not getting any stage points. He said if it had stayed green, the battery was going to die at the same time regardless. He would have won that stage, then the battery would have died. But instead, they got no stage points. And obviously, like we talked about earlier, Kyle got 5 points. So,
Right. I mean, that's the same argument with people that run out of gas when they have a green white checker. Because I had enough gas to go the distance, but I didn't have enough gas to go.
but like
overtime.
you said, but like I was saying, you were saying it's once it's dead, it just predetermined has a time when it's going to die. And that was kind of
yeah, it's
interesting
not.
to hear him.
He's not saying they planned for it to die.
No.
It's just the battery's at 9 volts right now.
Yeah.
Once it gets below 7, we can't run the car, and at this rate it'll take 8 minutes for it to go from 9 to 7 volts.
Yeah. So
it was just bad luck. It's not like they planned for it to die at the end of the stage. It was just
it lasted long enough that we could have made it
Yeah.
if we didn't have a yellow.
But yeah, like I said, Legacy said they're not going to appeal that. So that sucks for him. That's basically a 0-point day.
Yep.
Like you weren't even there. Now we get to the big ones. Obviously, we're going to talk about this a little more when we get into the race stuff, but the Xfinity race was an absolute shit fest. The last 50 laps took what felt like an hour and a half. I was trying to leave. Like, we had to go to the store before it closed, and I was like, I'm just going to watch the end of the Xfinity race. Steph went up and took a shower and came back down, and she's like, it's still not over? I'm like, there's still 30 to go.
I ordered food. I was watching on my computer because that's the only way CW gets to me somehow. And I was watching on my computer, and with like less than 50 to go, I was like, I'm going to order food. And that way, at the end of the race, I can grab my food and I can watch TV.
Yeah.
Not eating at my computer desk like a crazy person because that's uncomfortable. So I ordered food, and it showed up with like the second green, white checker. I was like, no, like this is good TV. I don't want to walk away to go grab my food.
So
but, like, I had to like set it aside and finish watching the race.
So the big thing at the end of that race, obviously everybody was wrecking everybody, but Sammy Smith came from about 17 parking lots back to destroy Taylor Gray.
They took turns. Taylor Gray was the best car.
But I mean, yeah, they took turns, but like what Gray did to Sammy Smith was typical Martinsville. It was a bump and run, clean as hell. That 54 car had like not a mark on it.
Taylor Gray was playing games. He knew it. He definitely played it better than Sammy
100%.
Smith. They had a late race restart. The 8 decided they had multiple late.
There was
restarts.
there was a 3 to go restart. It was a green white checker, but it wasn't overtime. And that I think is when Gray originally gave him the bump and run. If I remember correctly.
The 8 passed him.
Yeah.
The 8 decided he was starting outside. He was second place, starting outside over and over again. Same result. Each time the 54 would clear him off the turn, he'd have to battle third place, which I think was Allgaier for most of that.
Yeah, it was.
And on the second to last restart, he started inside. So he took third place rather than second place.
Yep.
And he went into turn 1 and he just shipped the 54.
Yes.
I mean, he pushed him clear out of his way. Pretty rough, but typical Martinsville.
Typical Martinsville. Nothing,
I'm on your bumper. I'm going to move you.
I wouldn't consider that over the line.
But that green light for Gray.
Yep.
The next restart or
it was the green white checker.
The next restart, Gray does the exact same thing to him, but I think times it much better.
Yeah.
He moved him out of the way, pushed him up, but it was like the 8 never got sideways.
The optics of it looked way better.
And he just classic bumped and runned him.
Yep.
Similar, a little less than the 8 did to him before, but nothing out of pocket. Like it wasn't aggressive. It was the perfect retaliation for what the 8 did. And the booth even said it like, hey, you started it. You can take it.
Yep.
In the 54 for the next lap and a half, played the perfect game. And I called it as it was happening. Out of turn 3 and 4.
Coming to the white.
Out of turn 4, going down the front stretch, the 54 clearly lifts out of the gas on the front stretch.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are noticing it because they're just racing, but the 54 should have cleared the 8 on the front stretch. But the second you clear them, the 8's now going to go bottom and ship you to all hell.
Yep.
So I think the 54 intentionally let off the gas to keep the 8 next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to Phoenix, Bowman, and
And
Almirola.
Yep.
I'm just going to give you enough room that you're next to me. I don't need you on my bumper. Because if you get on my bumper, you're going to move me. So I think the 54 handled it perfectly. The 8 and the 7 are now side by side behind him, beating and banging. In the 8, going down the backstretch, coming to the checker, just doesn't lift. Denny Hamlin's, there's somebody on my bumper, sorry.
There was
and ships the shit out
there
of
was
54.
3 car lengths between them easily.
4, I'd say.
Easily 3 or 4 car lengths between them. Like I think you said it perfectly on Discord. A bump and run shouldn't end with your hood being crunched up in a V shape. Like
he shattered his radiator to bump and run him.
Yeah.
The 54, I mean, no chance in hell spins out immediately.
Yeah, spins out
That's
immediately.
not a bump and run. That's a dump. And you dumped him from the entire back straightaway. Allgaier was 3 or 4 car lengths behind you, and you were side by side.
Yeah.
When you did this, it was just way over the line egregious going into turn 3, and just absolutely ships the 54.
Ships the 54,
sends him into the wall,
but then wrecks himself.
Well, Allgaier gets next to him.
Yeah.
Allgaier is going to be a gentleman. The 21 has the 7 lifted off the ground.
Yeah.
This happens right in front of Allgaier. He lets off, but he's going to be side by side with the 8 as the 8's getting all collected.
Yeah.
And the 21 just bulldozed both.
He
of
drove
them out of
over.
the
He
way.
was over the curb, like
Yeah,
down
he
where
just-
grass used to be.
He saw his chance and he didn't lift.
Yeah,
Which is, I mean, it is what it is, but you can't say that I'm the only clean driver out here when you did that, because that
Exactly.
was over the line in my opinion.
and that
as
wasn't
well.
his first thing. We'll get into that when
Yeah.
we do the race, but that wasn't his
But
first
it's-
thing.
The 21 moves the 7 out of the way, which then moves the 8 out of the way, which then wrecks the 8
Yep.
and scoots on by on the inside. Sheldon Creed follows him for his 14th, I think, second runner-up finish.
Yes.
And Austin Hill wins the race. I think it's the first lap he led.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
He did not have a clean bumper.
No.
But all hell breaks loose. The 8, the 7 are both crashed. The 8 goes spinning across the track.
Takes like
Jeb Burton freaking bulldozes right into him. 3 or 4 cars wrecked behind
Yeah.
him. Brad Perez
squeaks through.
squeaks through. He had a couple scrapes and bruises, but he came through pretty clean. But yeah, absolutely shit show of a finish. And I'm glad NASCAR is doing something about it, but I don't know if it's the right thing.
am
And it's kind of
so-
an unprecedented call.
I'm so conflicted on this. So basically, they came out this afternoon about 2 hours ago. NASCAR penalized Sammy Smith 50 points and 25 grand for all of this. I have just I don't know where I stand on this. I don't want them to have to do this. I don't want officiating when it comes to NASCAR racing. I don't want this to turn into F1. I don't want it to turn into supercars. I don't want it to turn into, these other racing series that if you touch each other, you have to give the spot back, or you get black flagged, or you get penalized, or you get whatever. Unfortunately, the kids in the Xfinity, especially lately the Xfinity series, the trucks have been fucking great this year. I don't know what happened there. But in Xfinity, it's like there's zero respect. And I think it was Skip said it perfectly. A lot of these kids, they're buying their rides and they know that that's their car, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
They know I paid for that car. That's my seat. Double birds to everybody.
Yeah.
And there's just no respect anymore. That was not racing. That was, and like I said, it was the whole 50 laps leading up to it. I think if they had a green flag run before that and Sammy Smith caught him and did something similar, it'd be still bad. But I think everybody was just so fed up after that 50 laps that took an hour and a half of stupid driving. So I think it's warranted. It's a slippery slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the problem is if you're going to give it to that one guy, you need to look at everybody else closer.
Yeah.
And you can't just because he was racing for the lead penalize him more or less. Because like I said, there were 3 or 4 people behind him that did the exact same thing, but because there was a line of cars in front of him, it didn't look as bad.
Yeah.
Like Austin Hill. We will criticize him to high hell. He wasn't the worst offender this week, but he was an offender. And he drove the 7 5 car lengths deeper into the corner than he would normally.
Yeah.
Because he saw an opening to go for it. Like I said, Jeb Burton drives through a guy on the exit of the corner because he's spinning, and I'm just going for the checker flag.
Yeah.
Gun it, gun it, gun it. There were plenty of guys. Unfortunately, it's been 4 days since I've watched this race, so I don't remember every instance from the top of my head.
Yeah.
But they weren't the only ones. The race was littered with cautions the entire time. Truck race, much cleaner. Truck race, I think the only difference now is it's kind of like the guys that are just stuck in the truck series are running these races now.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these young guys are probably moving up to Xfinity because they can afford it.
Exactly.
So we have the Corey Himes, the Daniel Hemricks, the Lane Riggs, the Ben Rhodes, Raja,
Crafton.
It's now like, I want to say veterans, but guys that have been around for a couple years that just haven't got a chance to move on, that are kind of controlling these races, so they're going a little quicker and a little smoother.
Yep.
I mean, who knows? Trucks could turn into trucks any moment, but right now they're off to a good start. Xfinity, the biggest problem is, and we talked about this last year, is you have Austin Dillon at Richmond absolutely dump a guy, same way Sammy did, drove in 18 cars deeper than he normally would, dump a guy, then right hook the next guy. That now tells these guys, oh, they're doing it in the Cup Series. I can do it. And even though he got penalized for that move, they still have the mentality like, I can do this and risk a penalty, or it's going to get done to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. There's a couple things too. And it's like, people are like, oh, how do you stop this? And it's like, one thing, and I thought this too, was one thing is, I don't know if you saw the post-race altercation, maybe get the 14 people standing in between them out of the way. Like,
they don't like fighting.
And I feel like you almost, like we talk about in the real world, no one's afraid to get punched in the face anymore. Notice, I don't remember which show I was listening to today or yesterday. Notice no one fucks with Austin Hill anymore.
Yeah, that was DBC, I think.
Yeah, nobody fucks with Austin Hill anymore. Why is that? Because they know that video of Myatt Snyder getting sent to the Shadow
Right.
Realm.
That's probably why they don't let people fight, because they know there's a freaking 7-foot gorilla out there that's
Yeah.
going to kill somebody's
Yeah.
child.
I don't know, man. It was embarrassing. It was like I was trying not to be like disgusted by it, and it was just like I can't defend that at all.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, it's exactly what you expect at Martinsville.
Yeah,
But it's when it happens, it's still like, I thought you were better than that.
yeah. So
Like Sammy Smith, I've never had the highest opinion of him.
yeah, not a big.
First of all, he doesn't deserve that 8. Junior said originally he wasn't going to run that 8 in Xfinity, and then he gives it to his worst guy. Kind of broke my heart.
Yeah,
I would have much preferred to see Carson in that car. Sammy Smith is just, I mean, fuck. We raced with him in the Dale Jr. 400,
and he just fucked off the whole
and
time.
he was hammered drunk or something because he was just wrecking
He
by
was a
himself
weapon
the
dude.
entire time. He was atrocious.
Yeah,
And I mean, he started out Joe Gibbs, didn't do shit there.
yeah.
Had the pilot Flying J money, brought that to JRM. I mean, he's the next Brandon Jones, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He's just not really doing anything. He seemingly has a chip on his shoulder. He's turning into Sam Mayer a little bit.
There's a lot of similarities between him and Sam Mayer because
Yeah.
then he gets out of the car. I didn't actually watch this, but I heard snippets of it of his interview afterwards, and he was like, "I'll do it again tomorrow. Like I had to do what I had to do."
Yeah,
and
he
it's
pretty
like,
much said, like, if I didn't do it to him, he was going to do it to me. Or
"Yeah, I
like,
did what I had to
it's
do."
okay because he would have done the same thing.
And it's like, dude, if you look at it, not only did you cost yourself the win, now you've cost yourself 50 points and 25 grand. You fucked the 7 out of 100 grand because it was a Dash for Cash race, and he was winning the Dash for Cash because he was the top rated car before.
Yeah.
If Sammy Smith doesn't go in there, if he just races clean, finishes second, Justin's going to finish third, get 100 grand. So you've cost JRM.
Right. Or Austin Hill would have needed to do something
Yeah.
drastic, and then we would have been talking about him this week.
So
not
you've
Sammy
cost
Smith.
JRM 100 grand, you a second place finish, Justin a third place finish. Both of you would have been in the Dash for Cash, the next Dash for Cash race, which isn't this week, but it's at Bristol. One of you could have won another 100 grand. Like the snowball effect, and now you get shit finishing points. Justin gets shit finishing points. Neither of you are in the next Dash for Cash, and now you've also cost yourself 25 grand and 50 points. And then also involved in that, Taylor Gray and Jeb Burton were also each fined 5 grand because they went to the infield care center. I don't know who Jeb Burton went after. Obviously, Taylor Gray went after Sammy Smith.
Could have been anybody.
Yeah, Jeb Burton was, honestly, though, the other Burton, I think he was ready to fight himself after that race. Harrison
God damn.
had a race, man. But, so yeah,
the
that's
splitter
the
was so funny.
that was funny. So that's kind of the fallout from the shit show that was this weekend. And then the last thing I have in news is something that literally just dropped like 30 minutes ago. We still don't have a ton of information about it, so bear with us. I'm sure we'll talk more about it next week when we get the full story. But apparently Legacy Motor Club has filed a lawsuit against Rick Ware, claiming that they are backing out of a signed agreement to sell a charter.
Yeah, so there was some more information.
Yeah, I feel like more has probably come out since I typed this in my notes and I haven't seen it. So
from Jeff Gluck, he sent a little thing. First of all, it's not April Fool's, he claimed.
yes,
But Jeff Gluck reiterated, sources tell Jordan Bianchi that Rick Ware was under the impression the charter transfer to Legacy would be for 2027 after signing the agreement, which had 2026 in it. Rick Ware Racing said it will not close the deal, and Legacy sued. It's all a bit weird. Obviously, they're leasing their 15 charter
the 15 charters
to
with
Rick Ware
RFK.
race or to RFK currently.
Yeah, you got more?
No, I got tagged in something. I was trying to figure out what it was.
Oh.
But they're currently leasing their second car charter to RFK for the 60 car.
Yep.
Ryan Preece. So I'm wondering, is Rick Ware Racing selling their main charter, or are they taking their lease back from RFK and selling that to Legacy?
Yep.
What makes me think that it's the lease charter is the fact that the 2 years was kind of weird.
Yeah.
First of all, in our current sport in NASCAR, the charters are going up every single year.
Oh yeah.
Why would you sell somebody a charter 2 years in advance?
I would be waiting to see if they're
Yeah.
40 million now. Who's to say they're not
Yeah.
60, 80 in 2 years?
Yeah, freaking RFK scoops up the 47 charter.
Yep.
Okay, what other charters are there to scoop up now? Like that was your low hanging
There's
fruit
not
right
many
there.
out there. Yeah.
So that's going to make the prices go even higher because now you're going to need to talk to big dogs to get a charter.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird to me that they would agree to sell a charter multiple years in advance. But it sounds like Legacy was under the impression that it was a 1-year deal.
Like
that they
we're
were
going to
getting
get it next
at the
year.
end of this year.
Yeah, we're going to get it to start next
And
year.
Rick Ware is under the impression that it's a 2-year deal.
Yep.
Which tells me that maybe Rick Ware leased the 60 charter
For 2 years.
for 2 years and goes, well, I can't sell it to you. It's
being used.
I've now legally given this charter to 2 different people.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird to me. Obviously, Rick Ware Racing has an alliance with RFK. They do not want to burn that bridge.
No.
So you repo your charter back a year early. That's not going to look
That's
good to
not
them.
going to be great. Yep. You're literally in their facility. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of speculated that I think Brad is probably going to be done soon.
I would think maybe. I mean, if you look at it in the 2-year window, in
I'm
2 years,
guessing
Brad
that
could be
was-
done.
That was probably the reasoning for the 2027.
And they're going to move Priest to the 6 or
is
whatever
we
happens.
only need this charter for 2 years because Brad's going to retire.
Yeah, that makes. I mean, the maths on
Yeah.
that 100%. I mean, at that
the
point,
way this year is starting, Brad might not be mad about giving them their charter back a year early.
yeah. I mean, what's Brad going to be in 2 years? That's got to be what 20 years and couple. What was he was? What was
He
his
got like
first
a
year?
late start.
He was a little bit
like
of a late start.
2012 or
Yeah,
something.
like that. Okay, but still a long career. You
Yeah.
know, and like you said, the way this year has been going, they're in the basement still. So, yeah, that's really all I had for news. I didn't see a ton of other stuff out there. So race recap wise, I mean, I loosely watched all 3 races. The truck race I just had on while I was working on stuff.
Yeah, I was playing poker when the truck race was on. and
Truck race was pretty good.
My
I mean,
phone died with 3 laps to go.
ooh.
So I was like,
Hate
well,
that.
Daniel Hemrick probably won this. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Daniel Hemrick ends up winning. Relatively clean race overall. I still hate the 3 Hendrick truck thing. That's really fucking annoying. Unfortunately, I don't really like Corey Heim. I have nothing against him. He's just
Brother.
but dude, like you got to go to a fucking voodoo doll or go to
If
somebody
they
that
can find a way to lose a race and they haven't found it already, they're gonna.
like he needs an exorcism. Like 2 weeks ago at Homestead, he's dominating the race and a wire shorts out and the truck
Yeah.
keeps shutting off. This week, he is the fastest truck by and far. He is running away with that race. There's a restart. I mean, I don't even really blame Honeyman for this one. Like, it was just kind of incidental contact. It wasn't even that.
I mean, Honeyman doored the fuck out of him.
He doored the shit out of him, but I don't think it wasn't like egregious, like, I'm going to dump him.
I feel like you don't see trucks. I mean, maybe they do, but the Xfinity cars kill tires like this.
Oh, yeah.
The front splitters, the rear
Yep.
side skirts, I mean, they bend them out for
Yep.
a reason,
Yep.
are just the car from Greece with the spikes, the Xfinity cars.
Yes.
You touch an Xfinity car and you're probably going to blow a tire.
Yeah.
Trucks, I feel like it isn't that common. He must have caught the muffler or the exhaust tip.
Something like that, yeah.
He hit him and he doored him, and that thing was flat in 20 feet.
He made it another 20 yards, and it was gone.
And it just sucks, dude. Like I think he was being the nice guy on the restart. He was kind of trying to keep himself out of harm's way, playing it safe. If I lose a couple spots here, I can get him back. But
Yeah.
the 45 just doors the crap out of him, and the 11 spins and wrecks. And
Yeah,
it's
it just
nothing he
never-
could do about it. He did nothing wrong. They were just aggressive. He was top 3 wide, or was they were only 2
I
wide?
think they were too wide, if I remember
The
correctly.
45 was just racing him horde
He raced him really
because
hard.
the 11 was lights out. So you had to beat
He
him
knew
when
you had to
could.
get it while you could get it. So he
But-
ends up, I mean, I think he came back and had a decent finish. He was kind of mowing through the field, but he
Yeah.
didn't have enough time. At one point, Honeyman was leading for a little bit at the end there. I was kind of rooting for him. We love an underdog story. He was leading for a little while. I don't even remember what happened. Oh, he got loose getting in the corner and washed up the track. And yeah, Hemrick ended up leading the last handful of laps.
Yeah, I think Hemrick just had a better long run.
He did, 100%. Really, all I remember from that race is obviously he's only won once, so I always forget that Hemrick has the backflip like Carl Edwards.
Yeah, but according to Corey LaJoy, Hemrick has knee issues now.
I was
So
reading
the
that.
backflip was a little surprising,
Yeah.
but the trucks we saw with Carl Edwards, a little easier to backflip off him because you can stand on the deck.
Well, he stood on the roof though.
Did he? Savage.
Oh, you didn't see that? Okay, so yeah, I wanted to say that Corey was giving him shit on his podcast, saying that apparently he won't play in the kickball game because he has like no ACL or MCL left, but yet he'll jump. He jumped off the roof, which is fucking high on a truck.
yeah.
clean landing. And then he said in the interview,
onto asphalt.
he said in
Carl
the
Edwards would usually do it on the grass.
Yeah, he did. He said it in the post race too that recently someone was asking him if he could still do a backflip, and he said he did one on flat ground at his house, like just to see if he could still do it.
Who was it last year? Who's the crew chief? Was it Gabe Hart or Chris Gale? They like blew both their legs into smithereens trying to backflip a diving board.
I think that was that Gabe Hart? It was either Gabe Hart or Gale. You're right. It
Gibbs.
was one of the Joe Gibbs crew chiefs. Yeah,
But
it was
just
during
like explode.
it was
both of
during
his knees
the
trying to
Olympic break.
backflip. Yeah,
it was during the off week. So he gets up on the roof and he does the backflip, and you notice like he obviously had like the balls of his feet, like you got like name rail, and then it flattens out.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the name rail where the roll bar is. He was just inside of it. Dude, it dented the fuck out of the roof. And
Did it?
I think it was Blaney came over to congratulate him. Blaney showed up in street clothes on the front stretch. He gives him a big hug and he's pointing at the roof, and Hemrick goes in and he's punching the roof from the underneath. Like, oops, didn't mean to do that. Like,
Yeah, that's why they're no longer allowed to stand on the roof to celebrate in victory lane.
yeah. So that was funny. Obviously, we just went off about the Xfinity race. I mean, outside of the last lap, bullshit.
I mean, it was cool. Let's give a shout out to Mr. Brad Perez.
Yeah, Brad did great. It's his second week in a row. Ran at Homestead last week.
A lot of those back marker guys. I mean, Brad was 25th to 28th pretty much the entire race. They were playing some pit strategy, so he got to party in the top 10 for a while.
He was like P6 for a little bit there, which was sick.
They got some TV time. Unfortunately, the fast guys were coming through.
Yeah.
Zilich, I think, put Brad in a couple bad spots, and Brad just backed out.
His spotter told him at one point, like, just get out of the way, because he was either going to get wrecked. It was like one of those move or get wrecked kind of things. He ended up bringing it home. I think it was P23, which he said is his best oval finish so far.
Yep. And his car was fairly clean. I mean, he got used up a bit, like we said, and he was partying. He was in the front for quite a bit. I think the second stage, pretty much the whole second stage.
It was, yeah.
So cool for him. You're going to get some wear and tear on that hot rod if you're doing that.
Yep.
Cool for them. I wish we could afford to be on the Alpha Prime cars, but they're a bit pricier for us. So we love to support him from afar. So it's cool to see. Also, Connor Zilich still proving that he's a goddamn wheel man.
He was unreal, but he's just so.
Since his first race in trucks, the second he loses the lead, like you get dirty air on that thing, he's a dart without feathers.
100%. You put him in the lead.
That's something he's going to need to learn. He's the hot shoe. He's the fast time guy. He's probably going to have 3 or 4 poles this year. If not,
he needs more patience.
But the second he gets in traffic, that's foreign to him.
Yeah, it's
and
like
he is a menace.
When he's out front, he's Jimmy Johnson. When he's in the back, he's
Ricky Stenhouse.
He's Ricky Stenhouse. Like, this is 2 weeks in a row we've watched him dominate like the first stage, and then he gets caught up in traffic, and it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, now there's 2 cautions that he's caused from spinning out or hitting somebody.
Yeah, his car looks like it got finished at Days of Thunder.
Yeah, exactly. It was ridiculous.
This is, like I said, we noticed this the very first race with him.
Yep.
Spire in the trucks at Coda.
Yep.
He's a fucking second on the field in practice and qualifying.
We were there. Me and Kyle were staring at the board when he went up. He won the pole by he beat the track record by a fucking second. We were like, holy shit. And then we were sitting up on top of the hill in turn 1 for the start of the race and watched him blow the corner. And he mows through the field and then fucks something else up and mows through the field again. Yeah.
Blows a tire like the 11 did.
It was just like,
so that's something he's going to need to learn.
It's the patience aspect
and
that
that's
he
the
doesn't
problem
have.
is match him to like a Ross Chastain.
Yep.
Ross Chastain's super fast, but once he gets in his head about being more conservative, taking less chances, being cleaner in traffic, he loses his overall edge.
He loses his edge, yeah.
And I'm worried about that with Connor. Obviously, world-class talent. He's going to be in the Cup Series. Who knows how long? One, before he gets there. I don't want them to rush him. I've said it before. I think at least 2 years in Xfinity.
He needs it.
But I don't know how long he's going to be in the Cup Series because he's probably an open wheel guy. And they're going to...
That's all the talk I hear is that...
They're going to try to shoot him into F1 or at least go Indy and then F1. So who knows how long he lasts in Cup. He's 18. But he needs to learn I don't know if patience is the word, but mid-pack etiquette.
100%.
He's got to learn how to drive in a crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, he's so fast. He's surpassing my expectations on speed at ovals by a long shot.
I think we all thought he was going to be not to say slow at ovals, but I didn't expect him.
SVG is obviously, they talked about this on DBC, I think, but SVG obviously world-class
road racer, but ovals is so foreign to him. It's taking him a long time to learn. But in the Xfinity Series last year, he banged out some top 15s, consistently in the top 20 at ovals.
Yeah.
That's what I expected out of Zilich. I didn't expect him to be leading at Homestead and then the next week leading at Martinsville. And we're going to go to Darlington. He's going to be strong there. Like, I didn't expect
I didn't think he'd be
this.
getting the pole at Martinsville of all places, you know?
So he's surpassing my expectations for sure, but he's getting his ass kicked in once he falls back.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Yep.
honestly, it's one of those things. They talked about it with like Keelan Harvick. Kevin Harvick talks about it. Kyle Larson talked about it when he was a kid. You almost want to like purposely blow qualifying so you can start in the back and just
Try.
learn how to drive
Yeah,
through the
didn't
field.
Harvick say he did that with Keelan where he made
Yeah.
him like sit out qualifying so he had to start
Keelan,
in the back?
what did he say? Like Keelan got the pole for 2 go-kart races in a row.
Yes, that's what it was.
So
Yep.
Harvick's like, all right, this time we're going to start you in last. Like, what? Yeah, you're starting in the back.
You need to learn how to get through traffic.
Like Kyle Larson said when he was a kid, he would purposely miss qualifying or qualify badly because he wanted to pass people.
Yeah.
So he wanted to start in the back. My dad, they used to do that to my dad at Hudson Speedway, track that Dale Earnhardt has been to before.
Dude, you shared that and it's like, what?
Yeah, I saw that years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Mid 80s, Dale Earnhardt was, or late 80s, Dale
I
Earnhardt
think it
was
was
at
like
Hudson Speedway.
85.
I'm like, dude, my dad was racing at Hudson Speedway back then.
I grew up
How
5
is that
miles from
not
that
a
track.
story?
Yeah, exactly.
How is that not the story my dad tells me? But my dad used to do, he raced at Hudson Speedway in the mid 80s, which is fucking 8th mile oval.
It's an 8th mile bull
It's
ring.
Bristol.
It's
Like,
it's
so fucking banked.
it's got a shit ton of banking. There's no wall in the backstretch and there's a pond on the other side. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to see a car go in there.
My dad almost did.
Yeah.
He ended up in the trees upside down in his Nova. But my dad and his buddies would do the spectator racing,
I've done it
which
once
back
there.
then was 20 spectator cars on the track at the same time.
Oh, it wasn't drag races.
it wasn't drag racing
yeah.
back then. So he would start in the back with his buddies, and because the guys would line them up back there on purpose.
Yeah.
And then they'd watch the locals, my dad and a couple other guys, mow through the field every week, passing all the spectators that have no idea what they're doing. And it was for the show.
Yeah.
So I think Zilich kind of needs to. I mean, he's gonna naturally do that, but it's not gonna hurt for him to start in the back. a
No,
couple weeks.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, like we talked about Austin Hill, I thought he did it like twice, but the egregious one was where he took his teammate out in the process. Him and Eckes had a little thing going on for a little bit there, and I saw it coming. Eckes moved him out of the way. This is probably with what, like 100 to go, maybe a little less. Actually, no, I think it was within the 50 to go range. And Eckes kind of rooted him up off the bottom, got by him, and I watched. It was like they went around like maybe a lap and a half, and I watched as soon as Eckes got clear of him fully, off of 2, I think it was. Hill just dove to his back bumper, not inside of him, but his back bumper, and I was like, he's gonna fucking do it, isn't he? And I watched him. He just drove into the back of Eckes, shoved him into the 2, and the 2. Fucking ass packed whoever was in front of him, blew the radiator out of the thing. Who was it? I'm trying to remember who the fuck it was. Maybe it was Sammy Smith. Because remember, they ended up nose to nose against the wall and they couldn't figure out who was going to go.
Oh, yep.
And they like drove into each other. And actually, Joe Sanchez said something in the Discord when that happened. I don't think Love's radiator was blown until they nose to nosed each other. Because then as soon as he pulls away, it's just billowing smoke.
Yeah, see, I totally forgot about this. I was thinking Eckes was, he was keep an eye on him for a while. He was that big wreck on the backstretch with
Yep.
Sam Mayer.
Yeah.
Eckes, I think he was side by side with the 21.
This was after that, I think.
And Daniel Dye dove it in 3 wide for no reason.
No reason at all.
Checked them all up, and Sam Mayer just put his snowplow on. Another egregious move.
He just drove through him.
And just jacked the 16 all to hell.
Yep.
And spun the 16, who goes into the 10, rips the nose off the 10. Those are teammates.
Yep.
So that's 2 teammates down. And then they spin. And I don't know who he hits, but
Somebody T-boned.
Josh Williams slammed into the back of the 20 car. I think it
Yes.
was Brandon Jones
Yeah.
was right there, who this is his one good track.
Yeah, he was actually running
so
good.
this is the one time for him to make those big Joe Gibbs bucks.
Yep.
The 11 bulldozes into the 20 car, wrecks all 3 colleague cars in one sweep.
Yep.
It was the 41's fault, Sam Mayer, who totally expected. He's having a really good season, but
He just hooked
he's
the
going to
shit
do
out of
shit
him.
like this.
Yeah.
But it was all initiated with Daniel Dye just being super impatient and forcing it 3 wide for no reason,
Yeah.
checking everybody up.
Yep. So,
So there was a lot of boneheaded stuff in the Xfinity Series. Like we said, there was Sam Mayer did it multiple times. The 21 did it multiple times. Sammy Smith is
just an idiot.
I mean, NASCAR could have gone back and fined probably 6 people
Yeah.
for shit going on in this race. It was just, like we said earlier, there's just a lack of respect in the Xfinity series right now. I don't know if it's these are all rich kids problem.
Well, that's
It's
what it
a-
is now.
It is. It's like they're all pay to drive guys. Not to say that most of them don't have talent. You know, Sam Mayer's a good. I mean, him on road courses is awesome. Hate to say it, Austin Hill's a pretty good driver. None of these guys are like not good drivers. But when you pay, like I said,
It's more rare for them to be a good driver. There's a lot more guys in the field that are pay to play
Yeah.
that we don't talk about because they're not as good.
True.
It's Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith. You notice these guys because one, they're in good equipment,
Yeah.
but or Brandon Jones, but they're up front often enough that we know who they are.
Yeah.
There's every car in the Xfinity field, they're being paid to drive, or they're
Yeah.
paying to drive that car.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying because it's week in and week out the same guys that we're talking about. And I understand penalizing the 8, but there were a lot of people that they're hoping this scares more people. They went harsher on him because it's the last turn, the last lap.
Yeah.
And it was just beyond.
And it's all anyone's been talking about.
Yeah.
Every single show I've listened to, DBC, Teardown, Stacking Pennies. I'm a little bit into Denny's show because I was sitting in traffic on the way down here and had nothing to listen to. They all have gone off about it.
But it's also his comments post race.
that too. That doesn't help.
Getting out of the car, I'm like, I had to do it. He would have done it to me. I couldn't settle for where I was at. We
Yeah.
needed the win. It's like you don't get out and say that.
No.
You get out and say I was giving it everything I could, and I overdrove the corner trying to make up as much ground as I could.
Yep. 100%.
I didn't want to turn him, but I needed to get close. I
Yep.
needed to get there.
Yep.
And instead, he gets out of the car and pretty much says, like, yes, just the way it is.
Yeah, it was the attitude. It
I'm
was
the
that-
GOAT.
Yeah, exactly. So Xfinity was a shit show. Hopefully they clean that up, but they probably won't. Moving on to the Cup Series on Sunday. I mean, it was your typical spring Martinsville race.
Yeah, there was the tire thing seemed good on paper, but once again, Phoenix. We talked about it at Phoenix. They had 2 different tires.
Yeah.
So it made the racing seem better than it was just because there was the excitement of the few people that were
Yeah.
off.
Like when Priest
Off
put them on and
sequence.
mowed through the field. Yeah.
Like it added a little bit to the race at Phoenix, made it, as far as Phoenix goes, a great race. But Martinsville, everyone's on the softs, so you have the same thing. You have tires that wear out, but they don't ever wear out and lose grip. They just wear out and eventually break.
Denny brought up a good point on his show, and I think we've talked about this before. You can test a tire all you want. When you only have 3 cars out there on an off weekend, you're going to get different results than you had 2 races and their practice sessions and their qualifying sessions and cup practice and qualifying before this, and you have 36 cars instead of just 3. With that softer tire, it's going to lay the rubber down and it's going to almost smooth the track out. So you're going to take that. So let's say in the test, those tires wore out after 40 laps. That might now be 65. You know,
Right.
if the track surface is rubbered up and a little bit smoother, it all made sense. Even Denny said in practice, I think he did like 40 laps, and he said he felt like that, they coined it at Bristol last year, the light switch. He said all of a sudden they just went away after 40 laps because that didn't happen in the race because the track gets rubbered up. If you think about it, it fills in the imperfections.
Yeah.
It makes it a smoother surface. I mean, his thought, and this will never happen, but it's like Goodyear has to take that leap and be like, this tire wore in 20 laps in testing. Let's use that one. Maybe you get 40
Yeah,
out
but
of it, but they'll never do that.
It's whatever they're doing now, they don't wear evenly. They just light switch.
Yeah.
So you go from, oh, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. They're all bad.
They're all bad.
It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, no matter what you do, third place isn't going to be good longer than
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
They're going to be good, bad.
Yeah.
So there's no tire saving like there used to be. There's just, how long can you go on tires? Oh, I can go 40 laps. Second place can go 40 laps. We're going to pit after 40 laps.
Yeah. That's exactly
And
what
we
it is.
saw it. I mean, there was single digit people that rebounded this weekend from a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, Bowman had
The
that loose
22
wheel and disappeared.
The 22, the 60, and the 12 maybe, but the 12 played pit strategy and
Well,
just
the
kind of stayed
12,
in the
the
front.
12 started in the back.
Yeah.
He had an early qualifying draw. didn't get a good lap. He started in like the 30s, I think. And you're right. He played pit strategy one of the cycles, like
Yeah.
one of the caution cycles, and he just never
Priest
never
at the
left
end,
after that.
like carved his way through the field, had a couple good restarts.
Yep.
Probably gained a couple spots in pit road. And then the 22 late in the race gets spun by the 43? The 19? I don't remember. Somebody spun the 22 out.
Was it Chastain? Because he was pissed at Chastain at the end of the race. I think
No, it was the 54. He was pissed at the 54.
No, he was pissed at Chastain.
Was he pissed at Chastain?
Did you not see his interview? He was talking about how Chastain
Somebody
drives like
jumped
an ass.
Chastain into him or something. I think it was maybe the 19.
Maybe something like that.
The
Yeah.
19 jumped the curb. But either way,
That's
Joey
what it was.
Logano
Yeah, the
gets spun.
You're right. The 19 jumped the curb. He tried to go inside of Chastain. He jumped the curb, slid up, took Joey out. That's right. Yep,
Yeah.
I remember that now.
But the 22 had to pit because they got spun, but nobody else pit. So now the 22 has 30, 40 lap newer tires. I think
Yep.
it was like a big difference.
It was a huge difference. Yeah.
And was able to drive through the field, but still only got to like 9th.
Yeah. He finished top 10, but yeah.
Barely in the top 10 because eventually his tires evened out too. But we saw multiple guys.
Didn't Bowman have a loose wheel? And
Bowman had to, loose wheel, went to the back.
he was top 5, goes to the back. We
And-
never saw him again.
He never came back. The 24 was just pretty bad all weekend, but
Yep.
he should have been able to drive through the pack.
Yep.
There was no passing. It seemed like good racing. The cars got filthy. It looked
Yep,
cool.
Looked cool.
The track was dirty. The guys, they needed to pit to get tires.
I mean, did you see? I saw the clip yesterday on Twitter. The kid that is Denny and Larson's photographer, the one that does the podcast with Denny.
Yeah.
At the end of the race, he looked like Tom Cruise. At the end of Days of Thunder, his face was all black. He had like rubber all over
Yeah.
his face, and he's like, "Yeah, that was fun." Like, but it's just like you're right. Everything wears evenly, and everybody's on the same even playing field. So it's like, what are we doing here? You know?
Yeah, it looks better, but it wasn't better.
It wasn't.
Like Chase Elliott said, like if I was in front when he got in front, I could have done the same thing he did.
Yeah.
Like Denny Hamlin looks like he dominated that race because he led the most laps.
Yeah.
And he had the fastest lap, but yeah, you were in the lead when the tires were the best.
Exactly.
You
Which is what-
obviously Denny Hamlin's very good at Martinsville, but he was just the guy in the front at the right time.
Yeah, and they said that about this fastest lap thing before we even started the season, where at a lot of these tracks, the guy who gets the fastest lap is going to be whoever's leading the race after the last pit stop on a restart.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, it was just overall just your normal. I mean, there was a couple cautions, nothing big deal, just casual spins, nothing major.
Casey Mears made his triumphant return.
Finished like 8 laps down.
Burt Myers was in the race
Finished
in the 50
like
car.
18 laps down.
He had mechanical issues.
He had
he
mechanical
went to the
issues.
garage, came back out.
Yep.
The 2 and the 21 had the battery issues we talked about a little bit earlier. That's
I
pretty
can't
much it,
think
I
of anything else noteworthy.
Like we said, Bowman had a top 5 car.
Yep.
Has a loose wheel that they just never talked about in the broadcast, which I thought was surprising
It's Fox, so.
because it sucked because he was playing the strategy perfect and it was going to work out for him.
Yep.
They stayed out at the end of stage 2 or whatever, or midway through stage 2, got all the track position, then caught the yellow
Yep.
fast enough that everyone was going to pit. And then when everyone pit, he was coming out top 3 or 4, and they had the loose wheel, which sucks because they had top 5 speed apparently.
He was up there at the start
Yeah.
of the race, yeah.
So that hurt him a
We
lot.
did have and this annoyed me with Fox. So you had a massive checkup at one point getting into a corner. Busher doesn't see it. He tries to drive over Noah.
Yeah.
Goes up on they basically did the Ty Gibbs at Bowman Gray thing where they touched wheels.
Or the Ty Gibbs at Coda.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs a couple times this year. They basically, Busher drove over the rear wheel of Gragson. And then they're like, Gragson's pissed. He's taking swipes at Busher onto the pace laps. The broadcast that's on the camera, like we're watching it happen, and the broadcast is talking about hot dogs or some
Yeah.
kid in the stands or something.
I
then-
said early on in the race, I think Fox got talked to about their low energy call.
They
at
definitely
Homestead.
seem more energy.
Because, dude, from the drop of the green flag at the beginning of the race, it was like they were all turned up a couple
Yeah.
levels.
I wanted to give us, as much as I rag on Fox, and I think Mike Joy's lost his fastball. Nothing made me happier this weekend than listening to Mike Joy just roast the
Oh.
Xfinity Series.
The Xfinity Series race was a dumpster fire.
And then 20
but
minutes
that's
later,
not exactly true because dumpster fires are contained.
well, he called it a dumpster fire, and then like 20 minutes later, they're talking about it again, and he's like, "Yeah, earlier I called it a dumpster fire, but that's unfair to dumpster fires because those are contained." And I'm just like, "Oh my god!"
Like it was, we talked about it last year. There were a couple brief races last year where it was like peak booth.
Yep.
And Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer were all firing on all 8 cylinders. They were all energetic. They were all meshing well.
Yep.
This race, for I'd say like the first quarter, first half, felt like that.
Yep.
It felt promising. It was like, okay, they learned from their mistakes last week. They kind of were stepping on each other with the important race call. They were super unenergetic. They
Yep.
were kind of moping their way through the final race or final run of that race. It was really kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
And this week they kind of turned it up, but by the end of the race, they were back to their normal selves.
Yep.
That being said, it wasn't the most exciting race ever, but they're three guys that can get along. Obviously, Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick have been friends
Yeah.
for 20
They
plus
were
years.
teammates multiple times.
Yeah, they both came up together. Clint Boyer was only a few years behind Harvick. This is one of their best combined tracks.
Yep.
This is Clint Boyer's favorite track. Obviously,
Dude,
when he called Cash his little turd,
I died when he said that.
he's like, "That's one of my favorite wins in my career." And then I see that little turd running down the front stretch at me, and I lost it. I was like, "Yes,
That
dude,
was
I
so
felt the
good.
same way."
That was so good.
But I watched that race on my cell phone at work when I was working at Toyota because that
Yep.
was a Monday rain delay
Yeah,
race.
it was.
And I watched it on my phone. Clint Boyer was my favorite driver. And I watched him win that fucking 4-year winless streak
Yep.
or whatever he was on. And then see a little Cash Money running down the front stretch. I was like,
Funny how small.
I
I
agree.
forget how small
oh
he
my
was.
God, Cash
Yeah.
is the best. I've said for years, Cash, Owen Larson, Brexton, they're
Yep.
all around the same age.
Keelan.
Put a
Keelan's a
freaking
little older. but-
camera in their face.
Oh, yeah.
They did a bunch at props at the Chili Bowl.
Yes.
Those three kids had like their own segment,
Yep.
and it was hilarious.
Yep.
But yeah, so the booth has the opportunity to be good.
Mhm.
We've seen it. It's just not consistent.
It has flashes. It's not like NBC's
they are
booth,
shout out
which
to
is usually
Fox.
good.
They did add the stopwatch.
Oh, finally, after what,
It
6
was
races?
not a smooth transition into the stopwatch.
Nope.
They
It
turned
sh-
it on. They turned it off. They turned it on. They turned it off. They had a little pop up on the screen that said the fastest lap. That was there for half a second. Then it was gone, and then it was there for I think, the rest
The
of the race.
stopwatch showed up like halfway through the race too. It
And
wasn't
then you
even.
still have people on our Discord, on Twitter. What the hell's that blue thing next
I-
to Denny's name? Like,
I saw it on Reddit. Somebody on Reddit was like, "What's with the stopwatch?" It's like, have you not been paying attention? Like, I don't know. What are they going to do with the stopwatch graphic when the person with the fastest lap is in like 5th and you have to show the interval at the same time? Like,
right. I think it was just moved over because there were no numbers.
Yeah.
I think I think it moves over because
Hopefully.
Denny is in the lead and there's nothing next to it.
Yeah.
It slides over.
yeah,
But I think when he's in 3rd place with the fastest lap, it'll
it'll
just be
slide
more
over.
central.
Yep, I agree.
I think it's just, I don't think that was, I thought about that at first and I was like, no, because I think at one point he got passed.
maybe.
Or there was like a restart where they were swapping positions and it moved with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, finally they added that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
It's
life
not,
changing,
but it's just nice
yeah,
to keep
it's
an eye
something
on.
if NASCAR is going to implement a rule like this, which is kind of silly, but it's cool.
I hated having to at the end of every race go on Twitter and figure out who had the fastest lap. It's like at least if it's on the broadcast, I can know.
Yep.
You know. But yeah, Denny basically dominated the last stage. He ended up leading what, like 240 something laps.
Yeah, Chris Bell took a couple swipes at him,
Yep.
but at the last 40 laps or so, he just dropped his anchor.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Denny stretched it out to like what, a 3 or 4 second lead.
Yeah.
Not the only thing he stretches out. NASCAR, I see you.
It's only a two-digit
Two
lead
digit
at that point.
2 digits. But yeah, Denny Hamlin wins for the first. It's funny. I didn't even realize it had been 10 years since he won at Martinsville because he's usually in the mix there. And he's this is his 6th win there. Like I think of Denny's best tracks. This is one of them. And then to hear
Yeah.
that he hadn't won in a decade, I was like, what? Huh? So
What's his other best track?
yeah. So, hey, good for him. And then
Hey, maybe that'll just mean that he won't win at Pocono.
I hope so. So far, I know we're early in the year, but burnout of the year.
Yeah, it was good. He tried the next gens. Just I feel like don't do great burnouts.
I feel like Larson.
I feel like you just got to park them on the freaking wall and burn them
yeah,
down.
Larson seems to have the rolling burnout down. Like,
Yeah, but even still, the next gen's not as good as the Gen 6.
no, the Gen 6s
His
were
Gen
amazing.
6 burnouts were insane.
Where they were
2021,
top tier.
dude, he was smoking them.
Yeah.
But now the next gens, they just don't burn as good.
yeah, Denny's like, it started pretty smoky, pretty sideways. And then it seemed like he just kept gaining speed. And yes, he was still spinning the tires. There was black marks behind them, but like the smoke kind of died. It
Yeah.
was like going to, it'd be like going to Lock City Drift. And it's like, they're not going to have the smoke like a Formula Drift
Yeah,
event.
or
you know?
like it rained a couple hours ago and there's
Yeah.
a little bit of moisture on the ground,
it's
so
just
there's
not
no smoke.
smoky, but
Yeah, so good burnout. The flag
was corny as
that
hell.
he had to ruin it. I mean, he did
Apparently,
so
it
good.
was given to him by a fan.
I heard that as well. So
but
if you
it's still Denny. He's going to lean into any corny
if
TikTok
you
trend
missed
he
it,
can.
he got out of the car and held up a big flag that said 11 against the world. Really, dude? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's
You're
okay.
acting like you're running for Rick Ware Racing. Like, buddy, you're one of the best teams in the garage. No one's against.
Yeah,
like,
but
you're-
it's also like you are against the world because every single week there's 35 guys out there that are racing
Yeah.
against you.
well, and it's again, the fans are against him. Yeah, because you get out of the car and say dumb shit like "I beat your favorite driver," and
Yeah.
fucking like he's. But I will say, as much as it annoys me, as much as it's corny as fuck, NASCAR needs a heel. Denny
Yeah.
plays the heel perfectly. You know,
Yeah, Kyle Busch used to, and he's just simply not good
he
enough
just
right now to
sucks
do it.
So yeah, Yep.
It's hard for Kyle Busch to talk shit when he's consistently in 17th place.
I used to hate the, I remember the one. I mean, I kind of loved it at the time, but it annoyed me when the slide job race when he got out and did the crying thing, and I'm like, really, Kyle? Like, come on. But it reminds me of the shit that Denny's doing now. You know,
Yeah, Kyle. I feel like Kyle just did it better.
he did. He was a better
I
heel.
feel like he was more relevant when he was doing it, kind of thing. Like he's taking something that was said or done that week,
yeah,
and he was like, "I'm going to toss this into my victory celebration."
yeah.
Where Denny's like, "This is something that
I've made
they
up
said
in
at
my
a
own
college
head.
football game a year ago, and I'm going to mock it now or something." It's just I don't know. Like I said, we've joked about it before, but like Denny is just like a YouTuber that didn't know YouTube existed.
100%.
He has that Logan Paul energy.
He's
and
a
it's just
cornball.
kind of annoying.
It's a cornball. Yeah.
But
So,
I mean, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. He tied Rusty Wallace for most wins ever.
55, both
which
of
puts
them,
him what 7th or 8th or something.
something like that.
He's-
Both of
he's
those
high on the list.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny. Both of them came at Martinsville.
Fingers crossed. That was Rusty Wallace's last win ever.
Fingers crossed it's Eddie's last
Maybe.
win. I don't need him anymore this season until the playoffs, so he can not win at all. That's fine by me. Levi, suck it.
Yeah, I mean, congrats on the win, but we're not.
I was happy.
Stroking his ego
I
too
was
much
happy
here.
for all of 30 seconds because I saw how many points I got, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm still not
Yeah.
happy with this."
That's a tough one, dude. That's why like our race picks thing is especially now. Like we talked about how like the points matter, but like last year it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick Denny Hamlin. I don't like Denny Hamlin, but he could finish 5th as long as Kyle's and Dan's
Yeah.
picks finish 15th and 18th.
100%.
Now it's like if I pick this freaking guy that I hate,
I need
he
him to.
has to do good the whole race.
Yeah, he has to do good the whole race. Exactly. Which it hurt me to watch the whole race. I had to keep an eye on where he was.
Which it was a couple weeks. Homestead. Was it Homestead? Oh yeah, Homestead. I picked Blaney.
You had Blaney.
I'm
yeah.
a big fan of Blaney, but Bowman was really good.
Yeah.
So I was super conflicted. Bowman being my boy, and I was super conflicted that race because it's like I want Ryan Blaney to get all the points he can, but Bowman, I'm thinking long term here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a stage point would be really good for Bowman right now, but Denny or Blaney, give me 10 points.
yeah. So
So it's tough us doing this because as NASCAR fans, we want to pick favorites, but as podcasters, we have to try to be unbiased, and it's
we're not.
not that we are, but it's like for certain things that we want to do this, like the race picks and stuff like that. It's like, well, you kind of just want to pick who you think is going to be the best, but it's gonna hurt your heart a little bit to root for that guy,
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree. So
and also it hurts your heart to root against other people.
yeah, you like if it comes down to my pick versus, I don't really have a favorite, but like Larson or Bowman, like it's like
Yeah.
I don't. Oh man, like I don't want to have to root.
Yeah,
against.
like I'll be watching a race and I'll have Chastain and Dan will have Ryan Blaney. Like, oh, well, if Ryan Blaney blows a tire right now, it's going to be a lot of points for
Yeah.
Ross Chastain. But I'm rooting against Ryan Blaney, who I love.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's a tough one. Also worth shouting out, Dan, you want to pull up the top 10?
Oh yeah, I can do
There
that.
were some cool names in the top 10. Huge shout out to Mr. Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, Bubba
Papa
is
Bubba.
dude. Bubba, like we talked about, big dad energy, new crew chief energy. I mean, he's
Bro,
got
I didn't know this day would come. But right
Same.
now, Bubba being the strong 2311 car, I'm like, I'm fucking here for Bubba just being a top 5 guy.
100%. I agree. So
Like we've seen it for years where not that long, but Reddick's the strong one. And Bubba was always just kind of there. But this year it's like, ooh, Bubba, I like him being
even
up
a
front.
couple years ago when they brought Bush into the 45, like the
Yeah.
45's always been the stronger car. And right now, I mean, like Freddie said on DVC, they're gonna hit a rough patch. But I think Bubba's attitude right now, like before,
I think it's a lot of being a dad. His just his overall,
Vibe.
yeah, just like the cloud around him is just sunnier.
Yeah. And I think
Like
too,
he's just a happier person.
that crew chief that I forget his name, but the new crew chief just seems like
Yeah.
a guy that he gets along with. That he like
And I don't want to put it solely on the crew chief because I love Booty Barker.
same.
And I think a lot of the success that whole organization is feeling is on the shoulders of Booty and the groundwork he did from the
Yep.
start. Because
Yep.
Booty was there from the start of
Yep.
2311. So I don't want to, I hate when it's, oh, I got a new crew chief and turned my life around. It's like, no, it's, you got a new crew chief that was able to build off of what your last one did.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't, the second Booty left the room, they didn't freaking erase everything he ever wrote down.
Yeah.
They added to it.
Yeah.
So I think Booty deserves a lot of credit for building the team that the new guy who, fuck, I wish I knew his
I
name.
can't remember his name.
I
off
think
the
he
top
was
of
the
my
crew
head.
chief on the 19
He
truck
was
last
because
year.
Corey talked about it. So obviously with Hemrick winning in the 19 truck, there was lots of rumors in the offseason that Corey was going to go to that truck. So I saw some smart ass tweet went viral about, oh, Corey LaJoie, this could have been you. It's like, dude, does he live rent free in your head? Like, shut the fuck up. But Corey said that he addressed it on Stacking Pennies, where he was basically like, I did have the chance to go there, and I was going to go there because of that guy that's now the 23
Yeah.
crew chief. And he said, when I found out that he was leaving to go to 2311, it didn't feel right anymore. So I backed
Yeah,
out.
it kind of lost its flair.
Yeah, he was excited to go
And
there.
Plus, also Corey's good friends with Daniel Hemrick,
yeah,
so he was happy about that.
exactly. So,
But it's just it's yeah, he lives rent free in a lot of people's heads, same way Brett does.
yeah,
Like Brett being the polarizing character he is on Twitter and shit. The second anything happens that they're like, 8 months ago, Corey said this. Oh, this just happened,
it's
Corey.
so fucking dumb, dude.
And it's just get
And
over.
I
it.
loved, and the kid, the tweet that went viral too was like, oh, there was more than 12 people in the stands to watch Daniel Hemrick win a truck race. Bro, there was like 50 people in the stands. There was nobody there. That race was
Yeah.
empty.
You just a scumbag. RIP. He used to be part of this podcast, but he's fired now because he didn't show up one day.
Yeah, he no call, no showed.
Scumbag posted like, dude, holy shit, did you see how empty the grandstands
Yeah.
were? And I immediately responded with a gif of Corey LaJoie clapping.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Oh,
So-
told you so.
Top 10 in the cup race. Obviously, Denny Hamlin takes the win. Seabell in second. Bubba in third. Top threes for Toyotas. Then you've got Mr. Chase Elliott in
Bubba
fourth.
got around or Elliott.
Yeah, Bubba was third. Chase in fourth. Kyle Larson in fifth. Ross Chastain with a quiet sixth. Your boy Ryan Preece in seventh. Again, what's that, like his third top 10 in a row?
Yep.
Unbelievable. I did not expect that out of him for a brand new team.
Yeah, and considering the other two guys on his team are dumpster
Yeah.
fires right now.
Joey Logano came back to eighth.
First top 10 of the year.
Yep. Chase Briscoe in ninth. And surprisingly, Todd Gilliland in 10th. Shouts to
Yeah,
them.
out of nowhere.
Ty Gibbs got his best finish of the year in 13th.
Hey, he needed
and then threatened to keep Tyler Reddick away, keep that short shit away from me. It's about
Yeah.
talking about Tyler Reddick, and then after the race, Tyler Reddick walks right up to him, and it's like
oh golly, Tyler, I didn't know that was what happened.
yeah, if you're gonna talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna fucking it pisses me
the
off.
points are kind of cool right now. Obviously, playoff points change things a bit, but right now, Hendrick Motorsports has the first 4 spots.
Yes,
Which is kind of crazy. It's Byron, Larson, Elliott, Bowman. Bowman is technically scored 5th because Seabell has more playoff points than him,
yep,
but Bowman and Seabell have the same amount of physical points.
yep. So the driver
So-
points right now, you got Byron, Larson, Elliott, Seabell, and Bowman are tied 4th and 5th.
Which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Hamlin's in 6th. Reddick is still in 7th, which I
Yeah.
feel like how. Bubba's in 8th. Joey 9th. Ryan Blaney 10th. Chris Buescher 11th. Chase Briscoe 12th. Ross 13th. Priest is in a playoff spot in 14th. McDowell's in 15th. Kyle Busch somehow still in 16th.
Yep.
So definitely interesting. I can't stand. And I wish you could like change it to playoff standings, but I can't figure out how to do that. So I
Yeah.
don't care.
But I mean, it's impressive. I don't think we've ever seen a single team hold down
No.
the top however many points needed.
100%.
Like, so it's obviously Hendrick is super strong right now, all 4 of them. Pretty hard to say that they should change something.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not leading.
Weeding.
They're not weeding.
They're
in the
not
wheat
weeding
column. In the
Widow
column.
we.
What did fucking Mike Joy say? Straight away.
Straight away. He did, yeah.
Mike Joy said straight away. But yeah, Hendrick Motorsports super strong right now. All 4 of them consistently up front and good. Bowman, even with whatever the fuck happened to them this weekend, came back and finished like what 24th or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Lost 2 spots
Yeah,
in points.
yeah.
So that was a huge near miss for them. Obviously, they could have used an extra 20 points, but good for them because nobody hates what they talk about more than Alex Bowman. He got a little snippy in the media day.
Yes.
What was it, Friday?
Yep.
Which, I mean, shout out to him. Good for him for doing that.
He's kind of standing up for himself a little bit.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like to see it. So that's about it for the race weekend. I mean, typical spring Martinsville. The Cup race was what it was.
Not
it wasn't
lot
a
of
bad.
passing.
It wasn't a bad race, but it
Decent
wasn't a
racing. The top
good
line
race.
held on for a couple laps.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's Martinsville's Martinsville. The biggest problem with these next gen cars is you can't move people.
No, when you watch, I noticed it very early in the Cup race after watching the Xfinity and the truck race. You bump somebody in the truck and Xfinity cars, they're out of the fucking groove.
Yeah.
They are moved. The Cup cars, you hit each other so goddamn hard, and they just propel themselves forward.
Did we
They
see?
don't.
I don't think we saw anybody spin from rear contact. It was always side contact.
Yeah, it was always yep.
But it's like Cup cars. If you did what Sammy Smith did to Taylor Gray in the Cup cars,
It would have just propelled
the leader would have just set a track record for going so fast.
facts. Yeah, exactly.
Because
That's
it's
exactly
like, holy
it.
shit, he had a 20-mile-an-hour faster average that lap because he got shipped to Christmas.
Yep, I agree.
Denny Hamlin was roasting the shit out of Austin Cindric and was pulling up receipts from like 3 years ago
Yeah,
saying like Austin Cindric has a recent record of being a dirty driver and he's losing his edge and he's wrecking everybody. And then he friggin' uses a race from 2023 as an example.
yeah.
It's like, I remember when he wrecked Austin Dillon at Gateway. It's like the one that Austin Dillon came up 2 lanes and turned himself.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like Cindric spun the 35, Riley Herbst, who he's a pay to play driver
Yeah.
in the Cup Series. Slightly more rare in the Cup Series because the Cup Series those guys don't last very long.
no.
It's money definitely talks in the Cup Series, but not as much as the Xfinity Series. Unfortunately, all the people that get to the Xfinity Series are paying to be there, so those are the ones you normally see go to the Cup Series. But either way, Riley Herbst, rookie season, hell of a rookie battle. I
Yeah.
think they're 33rd and 34th in
Yeah,
points right now.
And then, we didn't even talk about that. SVG lost a wheel. I mean, he is in like not having a great year. Not
Where
he's in
do we
hell.
go first? Sonoma? Give me to Sonoma.
I was hoping he'd be good here because he showed a lot of strength here last year
Yeah.
in the Xfinity car. I've heard people talk about it that Martinsville really caters to some of those road course guys because there's a lot of similar hard braking, shifting.
Yeah, AJ's always good.
AJ's
here.
always good there. SVG was great at Bowman Gray. Remember, he was
Yep.
like top 5 at Bowman Gray. So I was really hoping that it would translate, but I think he's currently stuck in that thing we talked about with Corey, where he's getting bad finishes, which then carries over to the next week where you're going to get a bad qualifying draw. You're going to get a shit lap in qualifying. You're going to start in the back. You can't pass anybody. You're going to get caught up in somebody else's shit.
Mhm.
You're just in this shit spiral that you can't get out of until you get a good finish. And I don't think we have another road course until Mexico, which is in June.
Yeah.
I think that's the next road course on the schedule is Mexico.
And that is a spiral that a lot of these guys are risking getting into.
Yep.
Like Alex Bowman. He's good in points. He's had a good season up to this point, but finished 24th. Does that affect your round in the next qualifying?
Yeah. I mean, I forget the metric is what? It's like finishing position,
Mixed with points.
points,
which is why
fastest lap.
Hendrick is always like the last 4.
Yeah.
Because this
Yeah.
year they're doing so good. But you risk that. Like Kyle Busch, that is the tornado he's in right
Yep.
now.
Yep.
They're not bringing that fast to cars, but he can't improve it because he's stuck in the mid-20s.
Yep. He qualifies in the mid-20s, ends up stuck there all race, can't get out of it. So, but yeah, all in all, I mean, just another Martinsville Cup weekend. Nothing. I honestly think the fall race is better because of the playoffs. The urgency.
Yeah, there's more on the line. But, I mean, the fall is when we saw the Chevy blockade,
Yeah.
the Seabell failed wall ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a better race because there's more on the line.
Exactly, 100%. It's the desperation. So, all right, well, we'll get into some questions. All 7-ish of you watching. I know 2 of them are us, 3 of them are us. So the fucking 4 of you that are here, if you have any questions, now is the time to throw them in. But let's head over to the old Instagram. We got one from Sam Valley 95. How many Martinsville hot dogs do you think you could put down?
Corey says he does 6.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if I like fully loaded hot dogs.
the all dressed.
Yeah, I think I would do at least one or two of those.
just to try it.
but I think I'd slow down to the natural just ketchup and
Yeah.
onions or something.
Yeah.
That being said, the red snappers, I've never been a huge fan of those.
Yep. I'm not a hot dog guy, so I can't answer that question.
But that being said, I think 6 is a totally doable number.
Yeah. I loved Corey's like, yeah, you'll catch me on the shitter later.
Yeah.
Another one from Sam Valley 95. Which prestigious sporting event is on your bucket list to attend?
We've talked about this before. Indy 500, I think.
Well, sporting events. This is opening it up to everything.
Yeah, Indy 500.
Indy 500. I have no interest in going to a Super Bowl. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe. Probably the Masters. That'd be sick.
Bruins Game 7
Been to one. It's not fun.
up until this year
Yeah.
would have been good.
I've been to-
They're dead to me now.
The only playoff game I've ever been to was Game 7 against Philly, where they blew a 3-0 lead in the game, which means they blew a 3-0 series lead in the series.
You know, it'd be cool. I don't know how cool it'd be, but like some sort of Olympic event.
So when they were talking about bringing the Olympics to Boston, I was hyped because like I wanted to go. They were talking about having the Winter Olympics here.
Yeah, winter. I'd go for winter.
Oh, I would love to go to an Olympic
and
hockey game.
I'd be first in line at all the abstract fucking weird
Curling,
yeah.
fucking
Oh,
what is
dude,
it?
the curling. We'd be on the team.
Hell yeah,
They would draft us from the
curling.
stands.
What's the other one? The biathlon where they have to ski and then shoot.
Bro. I've got stuck on an Instagram page I didn't know existed, and it was a little too horny for my taste.
Oh boy.
But it was women's single luge,
Oh yeah, I know exactly
where
what
it's
you're
just
talking about.
them on a fucking death sled.
Wait, is it the skeleton where they're going head first?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
That's
they were all hot as fuck.
so.
And I was just like, Jesus, Instagram, why are you doing this to me?
I've
Kept watching.
I've been.
I was like, I'd go to that game.
me and Steph realized it this year. We've been to I think 3 Olympic venues. So we went to Whistler for our honeymoon to go snowboarding. They had the 2010 when the Winter Olympics were in Vancouver.
Oh, cool.
Whistler is where they had all the skiing, snowboarding,
and
and
stuff.
they built it's called the Whistler Sliding Center, and that's where they did bobsled and shit. It's all still there, and we went there. You can actually go down on a bobsled. I don't want to spend the money, but when we were there was some event going on. I have videos on my phone of us it's like being at a racetrack. You stand right over the edge, and those things go ripping by you at like 70 miles an hour. It's fucking crazy. We've been to Salt Lake. They had the Olympics there, and then when we went to on our trip last year, we went to it was like the first, it was in Athens. It was one of the first Olympic venues. Like the stadium is still there and shit. It was actually really cool. Yeah, I'm not a big Summer Olympics guy. I'll watch it, but
No.
I'm so much more interested in the Winter Olympics because it's all
cool
shit that I'm
sports.
into. Yeah. But Matt, probably a prestigious sporting event. I'd want to go to the Masters, mainly just to see.
I think I would actually enjoy going to the Masters.
The only thing that sucks
A lot
about
of
it,
standing.
the
Lot
only
of standing.
lot of standing, a lot of walking, and you're not allowed to bring cell phones in. You literally cannot bring a cell phone in.
What if there's an emergency?
Doesn't matter. They have phones everywhere. Not even kidding you. That's a thing where they have little courtesy phones you can use. But the big thing there is they're one of those places, kind of like a local short track, where they make so much money on merch and stuff. Their concessions, I don't think there's a single thing over like $5.
Hot damn.
Like sandwiches are like $1.50. Like beers are a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Drinks are, you can get a water for $1. Like it's the coolest thing. Every year, because the Masters in a couple weeks, every year the sign gets posted of like the concessions, and it's like, what? How do they get away with this? And then you
They just
realize,
have Eldora prices.
yeah, then you realize they make like $70 million on merch in that week because
yeah.
a lot of the time it's the only, because it's a lottery to get tickets for that, and there's guys that have been trying to get in for 20 years. It's just a blind draw lottery, and I think you get weighted. Like the more you enter, the better chance you have. So obviously, if I'm a guy that hasn't been able to go for 20 years and I've been trying, when I go to that merch tent, I am buying every fucking hat, shirt, golf towel, golf fucking ball marker.
Yeah, and they're all F1 prices.
Yeah, you give me, I think the prices still aren't bad on the merch, but people buy so much of it. And not to mention that, let's say me and you are golf buddies and you find out I'm going to the Masters, you're going to be like, hey, can you grab me a fucking shirt? And then 6 of my buddies that I play golf with want me to grab my shirt. So you're buying 10 shirts, 10 hats.
That was something I could have put on the store. LIF golf balls.
Oh, hell yeah. That's sick.
I was like, they're probably like the shittiest golf balls ever. I was
They
thinking
are.
ping pong balls.
Oh.
Some beer pong with LIF
Hell
on it. That'd
yeah.
be cool.
All
But
right.
yeah.
Moving on. J. Stephen Brooks. Denny Hamlin can French lick my balls. Martinsville was awesome, though. It's Darlington week. This was the one I saw in the questions. John Skojic, who is J. Mike, I'm pretty sure, I think, in the YouTube chat, potentially. If the A&W car isn't scheme of the week, Norm's a communist.
Not a communist.
Downriver Diecast, what's your go-to remedy to get over the flu? Suffer.
Be a man.
Suffer forever. I will say when I was sick with whatever sinus bullshit I had this year, all of the month of January, we did some research, and it's like I was basically drowning myself in like Dayquil, and I'm starting to I was like, I feel like this is just prolonging it. And then I looked stuff up, and basically in recent years, some of the ingredients that used to make Dayquil good have become like not good, or like they outlawed it or whatever, and now Dayquil is just like a joke. Sudafed. It sucks. You gotta jump through hoops to get it because you can make meth with it. So you have to like, that's all locked up. You have to like go to the pharmacy counter and get it. But I lived off that shit for a month.
Is that what's in lean?
No, that's Tussin. I don't know.
Don't know. Yeah, I literally, when I get sick, I just drink Dayquil.
Same. I mean, I just
Like, I don't do like, fill the cap, take a shot.
No.
I literally just go, couple glugs. And like, that's probably
when I
doctors recommend.
When I take Dayquil, that shot glass does not come into play. It just gets drunk straight out of the bottle.
Yeah, when I go, it became a joke for like 3 years in a row. I would go snowmobiling with Doug, and like the first weekend of the year, every year, I would get sick as a dog.
Yep.
And I would just be like dying in the passenger seat, just drinking Dayquil, to the point where every time we go snowmobiling, Doug pulls out a Dayquil from the center console that's unopened and just puts it in the cup holder. Goes,
just in case.
There you go, buddy.
Yep.
Just in case.
All right. Nathan Danforth, what is the greatest April Fool's joke you've ever heard? So mine wasn't a joke, but I thought it was. Probably 15 years ago, like 13 years ago. My good buddy Ben, who's the one that sent us the koozie box back in the day.
Yep.
Grew up with him, went to high school with him. He's one of my best friends in high school. His kids were in our wedding. He called me on April 1st to tell me his wife was pregnant with his first kid. I had him on the phone for probably a half an hour. I was like, dude, you're bullshitting me. Like, funny. Haha, great joke. He was so mad at himself because he forgot what day it was that he decided to call me. And it took him like a half an hour for him to convince me that he wasn't bullshitting me.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I was like, you want to, like, if you call me tomorrow and try again, maybe I'll believe you. Oh, it was so fucking funny. Like, I still think about that every April Fool's because he was like, fuck, I forgot what day it was. No, dude, I'm 100% serious. I'm like, yeah, okay, bud, whatever. Blow smoke. Fucking jackass.
I probably had some good ones back in the day. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's the only one that comes to mind. I mean, the problem is, too, in my field, working in construction, every day is April Fool's. Everyone's fucking with each other every day. So it's like.
Yeah, I think I was a little too extreme for April Fool's Day shit. Like, I would be like, in my head, like, I'm going to prank all my friends. I'm going to cut the brake lines on their bicycles. And, like, my middle school was on, like, a hill. And so you're, like, wicked long road straight down to the intersection. So I was like, it'd be funny if I cut everyone's brakes. Ha, 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 April Fool's.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'd be a murderer.
Yeah, I'm a psychopath.
Yeah. Like, maybe I shouldn't prank people.
Yep. Nathan Danforth comes back with another one. You get to take one vehicle of any kind around any track in the world. What are you picking?
Oh, it's Corey LaJoy's.
It's kind of the Corey
One car,
LaJoy
one
question.
track.
This isn't forever. This is you get to do it. I don't know, man.
See, when I think of Corey's one car, one track, obviously we're not race car drivers, but
Nope.
I'd be like current NAS truck
Yeah.
at Bristol.
I feel like that'd be fun as hell.
But like anything bad but good at like the Nürburgring.
I feel like if I'm going to do the ring, I want to be in a car that I can be 10/10ths. Like, I don't want to take.
Miata.
Yeah, I don't want to take a McLaren P1 around the ring because I'm going to be fucking terrified.
Pussyfoot in that thing.
You're right. I want an EG Civic with a fucking K-swap. I want a Miata. I want something that I can wring its fucking neck for the entire lap and not be going fast enough to kill myself. You know?
It's like a 91 Ford Ranger.
Yeah, something dumb.
Just freaking letting her eat, bud.
I would love to take anything around Laguna Seca. I want to feel what the corkscrew feels like.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to be such a wild feeling. There's just so many answers to that question. It's so hard.
The problem is you're asking people stuff that have no experience doing anything. So I could be like a Miata around Loudon
Yeah.
and it'd be the
It'd
coolest
be
thing I
cool
ever
as
did.
fuck. Yeah, can I take my daily driver GTI around the Loudon Road Course?
Yeah.
Coolest day ever.
Yeah.
Like, L98 Jake, I'm convinced Chris Myers only got bun on that bite, no actual dog. What was
I think
that?
I saw a freeze frame of it. I don't know if I saw the actual thing.
Well, number one, they go to the hot dog stand, and the dude they talked to, I don't know if you saw it, but he was just, I don't know if he was stoned out of his mind
Oh,
or
that guy was
pissed
fucking
drunk.
hammered drunk.
Yeah,
Dude.
he's like, you gotta come to Martinsville and get a hot
And did
dog.
he
bro."
work for
he had
Advanced Auto Parts?
he had like an
or-
Advanced Auto Parts
He had
shirt
like
on.
a weekly series shirt or
Yeah,
something.
and he was like either hammered or on something. He was a mess. And then you got Chris Myers eating a hot dog. Did he eat the sideways way? It looked like he just kind of shoved it in sideways.
I don't know. And then you got Jamie McMurray, who guaranteed does not eat hot dogs.
No. Well,
He's
I
like,
didn't.
Do you have a vegan option?
I love when he goes on DVC and they bring up how much of a germaphobe he is. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
Put
that was
boy back in his bubble.
yeah, that was funny. Downriver Diecast, what are you looking forward to most about summer? It being summer. The fact that I can go outside and it doesn't hurt.
Drive my truck.
Yeah, getting my car out maybe more than once this year.
No, you won't.
The boat. The sun being up till fucking 8:30 at night. Like
We got a boys weekend we've been planning
we do have a boys weekend
that I'm
coming
kind of
up.
looking forward to.
I am very much looking forward to. If the weather fucks that up, I'm going to be pissed. I was just talking to our guest the other day about planning
It's
for
Dale
that.
Jr.
It's Dale Jr.
He's coming up. We're going on the pontoon.
Yeah, he's going to see what a real pontoon looks like.
Mhm.
I was like talking to him the other day, and I guess he'll be up late Sunday night, but it'll be a good time. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to it being summer. That's all I give a shit about. Like we got a taste of it a couple weeks ago, and then now it's right back to it's not winter, it's not cold, but like today was like 40 and windy.
Dude, it's fucking windy today.
Yeah. And it's the thing, right now I hate this time of year because it's either raining and miserable, or if it's nice out, it's windy and it's still cold. And it's like, can we pick one?
It's terrible.
Yeah. Downriver Diecast comes back with one more. Dan, have you ever been to Red Sox opening day? Not as a fan. When I lived in Boston in the season of 2011, I actually worked at the team store at Fenway. If you've ever been to Fenway, they close off. I don't even know what the hell it's called now. It's like David Ortiz Drive. It used to be Yawkey Way. They closed that street, and you have to have a ticket to get in, and there's all sorts of food shit. And there's a huge team store right there, like two big entrances, big giant store. I got a job there when I was living in Boston, and I worked. I mean, opening day was my first day. It was essentially the same as starting to work at Walmart on Black Friday. Like your first day is Black Friday. It was a fucking zoo. I'll never forget. They do like a fighter jet flyover every year. I have one year because we could see the lights of Fenway from our apartment, like out our bedroom window. I stood on the fire escape and watched the jets come across the sky, like from way out in the west. I watched them just fly across the sky over. It was really cool. But that year, opening day, we're in the store. I don't really know what's going on. Like there's TVs. I know they did the anthem and stuff, but I'm working. I'm not paying attention. And all of a sudden the fighter jets fly over really low, really fast. And it echoed dude, I thought
Shake the
I thought
building.
a bomb went off. I was like, what the fuck was that? But
No, that was a few years later.
true. I've never gone as a fan, but that was my one experience with it. I was technically in premises for it. So, and then the last question on the Instagram, Mr. Becker, Junk Styles himself, will we get Bush Peach again this year? A couple weeks ago, someone had a leaked image of Bush.
Bush peach and Bush strawberry?
No, it was Bush Lime.
Oh, that's what it was.
They're trying to jump on that lime train. Bush Light Apple is coming back,
Mhm.
which I'm hyped about because Bush Light Apple was delicious.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
I liked it more than the peach, honestly. And there was another one too. I don't think it was peach. Hold on, let me see.
They were like weird. I thought one was like Bush strawberry or something.
No, because I would have been hyped about that. Oh, here it is. What the hell is that one in July? I can't see what the label says, but yeah, there's like a lime and the apple, and I can't tell what the one in the middle is. So, oh, is it this? Is it Bush Light green apple? No, that's just apple. People are dumb. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think we're getting peach back though. I liked peach. We had a couple at Pocono last year. They weren't
Yeah, I think
bad.
Joe Soul had some.
And they weren't bad. I was a big fan of the apple. I remember Kyle brought them up a couple years ago to Loudon, and they were really good. It was just weird that they were released in the summer because to me that felt like a fall beer. You know, like it feels like it would pair very well with like a fucking cider donut or something. You know,
I mean, most things pair well with a cider donut.
everything pairs well with a cider donut. Was there any? Oh, what am I getting tagged?
There was
in?
one in the Discord
Yeah.
from Mr. W. How much do you think this win means to Progressive being new to the sport? Do you think this incentivizes them to stick around or contribute more money?
That's huge for them. They got to be hyped on their second race there.
Yeah, I think they're excited. I don't know if they needed much more incentive. It sounded like they were pulling up the Brinks truck right off the bat.
Yeah, what are they, 18 races or some
Yeah,
shit like
but
that?
they were like prepared to sponsor the entire Xfinity series from the sounds of it. It's a good thing. We've talked about it before. New sponsors that come on for short race deals and perform well tend to stick around much longer.
Yes.
Like we've seen this before. I can't think of anything specifically off the top of my head, but we've had sponsors that seemingly were 1-shot or 2-shot deals. They win a race and they're like, all right, well, same time next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
No, I think it's going to be huge for them. Yeah.
And with a sport right now that needs big names, I'm not mad about
Nope,
that.
not mad about it at all. So that pretty much does it for the questions and yet another episode of the Loose is Fast podcast. We made it. I'm so sorry that you had to listen to the two of us instead of Kyle's sultry voice. I can tell you where he is. He's on his way home now. We're almost there. I mean, he's not landing till 10:30. That's
He's over at Antarctica?
Yeah.
He's flying into the Bermuda Triangle.
He is currently flying over the Chesapeake Bay. He's heading into Virginia. So say hi to him if you're. Yeah, he just went over Norfolk. He's heading into Virginia.
Virginia's for lovers.
He's
Hope
actually
he
going to
knows
blow.
that.
Oh, he's going to blow right by. He's going right over OC. Going right over Ocean City. Just land that plane, buddy. Just land it there. You'll
right
have
on
fun.
the strip.
Yep. So he will be home shortly. He will be back next week, as will all of us. Maybe Steve will be back if he decides to come.
Yeah.
We'll see if we let him back. We might have to have a performance review.
Yeah, we might have to do a little review.
Maybe.
I just had one of those at work.
Yeah, how'd it go?
A self-review that I probably got way too into detail on. So
Oh, you can't.
I'll probably somehow lose money on this deal, but
Whoops.
everyone else is like, oh, I just like they'd like it was like a bunch of like fill in optional and rate yourself, good, performing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like writing stories.
Oh God.
Like it's like my first year. So I'm gonna tell them like the question is like, did you learn any new tricks this year that you could apply to next year and shit like that? And I was just like, well, it's my first year, so this is everything I've ever done. Like,
Yeah. Did you learn any tricks? Well, let me tell you all the safety rules I break to
'Cause,
get
like,
my
our-
job done faster.
Our HR lady, there's one. It's a department of one, so I don't even know how they make the TikTok videos. That was a joke. Because the HR people are always the ones that make
Yeah.
corny ass TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Just glad I could fill that in for you guys. She like walked past me. She's like, "Hey, did you fill out that review thing?" I was like, "No, not yet. I'm gonna do it now. I have until the end of the month or whatever." She's like, "Okay, cool, yeah." So it's kind of how we know how much more to pay you or something like that. I was like, if it's positive at the end of this, we're good.
We're happy. Yeah. If it's going up and not down, fucking sold.
What do you mean I'm getting half?
Yeah. What do you mean you're cutting me in half? So yeah. So Kyle will be back next week. We should be back to completely normal next week. It is one of our best shows of the year, I think, outside of the Christmas show, and that is we're gonna talk paint schemes for a long fucking time because
Maybe not.
probably there's a lot of bangers. Like I said earlier, follow us on the Instagram and the Twitter at loosesfast_pod. Follow the YouTube, the Loose is Fast podcast. I think we're up over 150 subscribers now. That makes us happy because it makes us feel like someone cares.
Yeah, we're booming, dude.
Go check out the new merch Norm slaved over at loosesfastpodcast.com. There's a lot of cool shit on there. Go check it out. Go grab yourself some stuff. Grab your mom something too. There's lady shirts now. Aside from that, I think we're good. I am Dan Walker,
Norm Peltier.
and we will catch you next time on the Loose is Fast podcast.
It'll be super good next time, I swear.
It'll be way better than this. It's still going.